binding to the level 9 civilization system? What then are we, at a mere 0.7 level on Blue Star? Pray, I cannot navigate this alone. What am I to do? Perhaps I should simply submit myself to the state. Consequently, the entire world's atmosphere begins to shift. Our mother returned from a trip to the moon, and something seems amiss. Surely, she must have used a cigarette, but to scorch an alien behind the moon. Beautiful lady, are you serious about this controllable nuclear fusion for civilian use? Ural, the Southern Heaven Gate plan? Are you preparing for war? Cherry Blossom, apologies, but Cherry Blossom has ceased to exist. Years later, within the Galactic Center's council chamber, my sincere apologies to our extraterrestrial allies. We are merely a civilization that aspires to embrace nuclear peace. Chapter 1. The youth of Abei Zhang Xiaobei's academic performance in high school was far from stellar. Nevertheless, it secured him a place at a vocational technical college in City F. Upon graduation, due to the mediocrity of his diploma, he cycled through various jobs: a real estate agent, a kindergarten teacher, a sales representative, and a tour guide. Each person he encountered praised his capabilities. Orphaned and alone, he had only the orphanage and his fragmented self to rely upon. At the age of 25, he gazed upon his mundane existence, which seemed devoid of promise. Thus, he resolutely joined the ranks of the disenchanted. After navigating a series of processes, he became a community worker in City F. Henceforth, he embraced a 9-to-5 routine, mediating neighborhood disputes daily. At this age, he possessed no car, no home, no savings, and no family connections. Yet, he still found joy in his life, primarily because he had a commendable landlord. The landlord's husband frequently traveled abroad for work, and the family had received 2 apartments from a demolition in their hometown. Consequently, they rented a modest 65 square meter unit across from Zhang Xiaobei. It is worth mentioning that the landlord's wife, surnamed Bai, is a perfectionist. Ever since Zhang Xiaobei moved in, various things in the house have been prone to malfunction. In an effort to foster goodwill and secure a reduction in rent, he always volunteered to assist her. However, he invariably returned home drenched in sweat, collapsing into bed. On this day, November 21st, 2025, the weather was overcast. Each Friday, the leadership convened meetings in the city. Zhang Xiaobei, along with 3 female colleagues, stealthily ventured into the community's recreational room to play mahjong. Xiaozhang, it's not that I'm criticizing you. The girl I introduced you to yesterday was quite lovely. Wasn't she? She's merely 12 years your senior, and you share the same zodiac sign. 80,000. I've calculated it. She's quite prosperous. Aunt Wang, in her 40s, declared as she played a card, urging Zhang Xiaobei. I'll take it. Zhang Xiaobei retorted. It's not about the 12-year difference. The main issue is you misled me about her height. Only upon meeting did I realize that was her weight. Next time, please be clear. She asked me right away if I had abs, 9 of them. As he smoked, he casually discarded a tile. Girls today have no trouble finding partners. Boys must strive harder. If the right one comes along, they should marry. Moreover, that girl is quite capable of childbearing. Aunt Chen chimed in, deliberately brushing against Zhang Xiaobei's hand while drawing tiles. 5 dots again. All pairs. She exclaimed. Forget it. 5 dots. I'm not criticizing you, but you're 25 now. Working here, and your salary isn't much. So what if she's 168? Being able to eat is a blessing, in my opinion. Zhang Xiaobei interrupted Aunt Chen, discarding a 1-tong tile. Indeed. You have a point. She is quite fertile. However, she has 3 children. Do you think that suits me? Am I to become a father to 3 kids without doing anything? Aunt Chen smiled as she drew a tile, playfully inserting it into the center and pushing out a 1-tong tile. 3 kids are wonderful. When you grow older, they'll take care of you. No, that is too much. I'm out. 1 tile. Hey, how could you even lose? Zhang Xiaobei pushed his tiles aside. All right, aunties. Let us conclude today's game of mahjong. It's time to clock out. As he stood up, tidying the table, he added, Aunt Wang, please refrain from matchmaking for me. To be honest, I have my eyes set on your daughter. She's only 22, just graduated from university, right? You could introduce her to me later. Hey, why are you going for the neighbor's daughter? Aunt Wang exclaimed, hastily defending my girl. Oh dear. She's already taken. No worries. Whatever happens, we can still become a family, Zhang Xiaobei remarked, casually unplugging the mahjong machine while sizing up Aunt Wang. If I can't be your son-in-law, I'll just be a father to your daughter. Your husband has been gone for many years, hasn't he? Xiaozhang, please don't jest with Auntie. Laughter erupted among the three middle-aged women as Zhang Xiaobei slung his backpack over his shoulder and exited the office. As he walked toward the subway entrance, he scoffed. What good is good looks? Even if I were as handsome as those readers, it wouldn't change the fact that I'm broke. With a salary of 2,800, I smile through the day. Rent is 800, food costs 1,000, and 500 goes for cigarettes, daily necessities, and drinks. What's that? Another 500? I must rely on loans from Douyin. How did it come to this? His ex-girlfriend was a tour guide who, after taking a corporate group, began flaunting her newfound wealth on social media. Zhang Xiaobei watched as she showcased her bags, shoes, and luxuries. He realized that if it wasn't meant to be, it would never last. So, he decided to take initiative and arranged to meet her at his rental unit. That evening, after an encounter, he lit a cigarette and said, "Let us break up." Taking initiative, after all, as he was no longer a lovesick fool. There were no storms or hysterics, just her simple question. If I miss you, can we rekindle our love? After receiving his affirmative response, she departed contentedly. Beep. He swiped his card, passed through the turnstile, queued, and boarded the train. During the rush hour in the overcrowded subway of City F, the scent of the day lingered. Scanning the area, he found no available seats and reluctantly shifted his gaze. Suddenly, a girl in a pink bodycon dress, paired with glossy black stockings, caught Zhang Xiaobei's attention. Such beauty could only exist in animation. Of course, it wasn't his lecherous gaze that attracted him. Zhang Xiaobei would stake his life on the fact that he was not that kind of person. He simply enjoyed the aesthetics of beauty. Do readers not appreciate that? Returning his focus, he opened his mental escapism. Tomato. Today marked yet another day of extracting gold from dung. Upon opening, a title caught his eye. Half a year until the apocalypse? I'll take flight with Huaxia. Intriguing. After perusing the first chapter, Zhang Xiaobei couldn't help but scoff. What nonsense. Does the author lack creativity in naming? Why choose a title akin to mine? Suppressing his unusual feelings, he continued reading. Heavens! Has this author indulged too much? The screen boldly displayed. Reward 1, grant a random system. Nowadays, these authors seem intent on deceiving readers, caring little for their reputations. Zhang Xiaobei clicked on the comments. Do you think I would believe this? Not a chance. Ding dong. Arrived at Wyong Square Station. He cast one last glance at the beauty across from him, reluctant to divert his gaze. Then, he was swept away by the crowd as he exited the subway station. Once more, he retrieved his phone, intending to scan for a shared bicycle to ride the final mile. In the next moment, a notification popped up on his phone. The author you follow has replied to your message. Curiosity piqued, he opened it to find, by Xiaohan. Ding. Congratulations on obtaining the Level 9 Civilization Growth and Transmigration System. He scoffed, muttering a curse at the author. It seemed this failed writer was indulging in their own fantasies. He opened the app for bike sharing, but suddenly his phone slipped from his hand. A voice echoed in his mind. Ding. Due to the author's reward, the Level 9 Civilization Growth and Transmigration System has been activated. What the hell? His adoptive father. You finally arrived. The main text concludes here. Ding. Gift a random system. What if? Chapter 2. Where are you taking me? Ignoring the phone that had fallen to the ground, Zhang Xiaobei saw a sky-blue translucent panel materialize before his eyes. Level 9 Civilization Growth and Transmigration System. Loading 5. 100. Loading complete. Would you like to bind? No way. Is this for real? I swear on my life as a reader. That author. You are now my father. My real father. Ding. Host response detected. Binding conditions met. Beginning binding. Binding successful. System explanation. This system is dedicated to enhancing the civilization level of the host. Rewards will be given for completing tasks at each stage. Rewards include, but are not limited to, various large technical blueprints, polymer materials technology, solutions to gravity floating issues during the installation of toilets on spacecraft, how to scientifically raise pigs in space. What the hell? Zhang Xiaobei picked up the phone from the ground and sat down by the subway entrance to study it. Brother, I'm in the city. I'm just a corporate drone, and you want me to engage in technology? With what? With my life? Can't I just have a wealthy system? I just want to be like many readers, with both looks and money. A bank balance in the 9-digit range. Marrying every night. I don't even know how to write this, so Happy New Year to everyone. Ding. System bound. Cannot be changed. Then I leave? Listening to the cold mechanical synthesized voice, Zhang Xiaobei scratched his head. Fine. Since you're here, How do I enhance the civilization level? Complete the tasks assigned by the system to obtain rewards. Task conditions are uncertain. Rewards are uncertain. Would you like to start the first task? Wait, you want me to work for free before giving me a reward? Don't think I don't see through your tricks. Where's the newbie gift pack? Don't hide it. Let me see. Ding. Newbie gift pack unlocked. Received 3 exclusive rewards. Ding. Congratulations on receiving newbie reward. Aidman Mimetic Alloy Battle Armor. Ding. Congratulations on receiving newbie reward. Personal space 1000 M. Ding. Congratulations on receiving newbie reward. Human genetic modification agent, beginner. Oh, not bad. Before he could finish his thought, the system's prompt rang again. Newbie gift pack distributed. Now issuing a newbie task. Would the host like to accept it now? Zhang Xiaobei gazed at the virtual screen before him. Without much thought, he directly replied, accept. As soon as he spoke, he lost consciousness. In the next moment, he vanished from his spot. It was rush hour, and no one even noticed this inconspicuous corner. Zhang Xiaobei had just disappeared. A military green off-road vehicle parked by the roadside bore a white plate with black lettering. The occupants inside witnessed the scene. No way. What the hell? He disappeared? Rubbing his eyes to confirm he wasn't seeing things, he immediately grabbed the walkie-talkie. Get me the F-City Public Security Bureau. I want to see 360-degree surveillance footage of the subway entrance at Weiyang Plaza within 10 minutes. The man's stern face held a trace of gravity as he glanced at the watch on his wrist. The time frame is between 6 o'clock and 6:10. Yes. Retrieve all records from surrounding cameras. Refuse their assistance. You retrieve it personally. Remember to delete the master file. I'll be parked on the roadside waiting for you. After speaking, the man hung up and immediately exited the vehicle. He approached the spot where Zhang Xiaobei had vanished. His eyes filled with seriousness. Amidst the bustling crowd, who would pay attention to someone squatting at the roadside? Why was he fortunate enough to witness this? That person. Could he be from the future? At that moment, his mind raced with countless possibilities. Yet, his professional demeanor quickly brought clarity to his thoughts. Damn system. I curse you. You didn't even give me a heads up. Where am I? Is this still Blue Star? What are you doing to me? Zhang Xiaobei gazed at the dim sky, surrounded by crumbling buildings. Standing on the rooftop, he was utterly dumbfounded. Ding. Task issued. Welcome to the apocalyptic wasteland. Here, countless bloodthirsty zombies roam, and numerous mutated animals exist. Has humanity truly lost dominance over the planet? Task content. Please rescue 10 individuals from zombies and mutated animals within 24 hours. Task reward. Controlled nuclear fusion blueprint. 110. Task failure. No penalties. Zhang Xiaobei felt a shiver run down his spine as he read the system's description. Just a second ago, he was in the city. And now he was thrust into the apocalypse? I'm unarmed. I curse you. I want to go back. Ding. Completing the task will allow you to return. Please check the newbie gift pack. Newbie gift pack? Zhang Xiaobei glanced around and noticed the rooftop was quite high. Distant roars echoed, presumably the so-called zombies from the system. He immediately sat cross-legged and opened the panel. Click to receive. Seeing the pulsating characters, Zhang Xiaobei was filled with trepidation. What kind of space, battle armor, and potion is this? It sounds fantastical. I wonder if it's really that miraculous. Receive. In the next moment, Zhang Xiaobei found himself involuntarily levitating off the ground. His formerly cross-legged position had his legs suspended in midair, and he hurriedly lowered them. Attempting to stand, yet he continued to rise. He floated to a height of 2 meters when suddenly, a faint purple space tore open before him. Countless densely packed metal components swiftly integrated into various parts of Zhang Xiaobei's body. What the hell? He couldn't help but exclaim, feeling a warm sensation enveloping his body. He involuntarily moaned in delight. When the last visor closed, Zhang Xiaobei transformed into a shining silver metallic entity. Ding. Rewards have been fully distributed. Aidman Mimetic Battle Armor. Crafted from the universe's hardest materials. Its mimetic function allows for body transformation. It can simulate any person, object, animal, or plant you have seen. The energy module utilizes the most advanced vacuum zero-point energy of level 9 civilization. No more worries about power supply. Personal space, 1000 M. Simply think of collecting. And you can gather items within your line of sight. Note, this space starts with a value of 1000 M. Subsequent upgrade tasks will trigger at irregular intervals. Please do your best. Human genetic modification agent, beginner, has been directly applied to the host's body. You can freely view it through the attribute panel. Zhang Xiaobei hesitantly spoke. Attribute panel? Subsequently, the blue screen before him transformed into personal information. Zhang Xiaobei, male, 25 years old, health points, 25, 71, 100, strength, 51, 100, 100, speed, 42, 100, 100, current civilizational development progress, 0, 7, level 9. Current main quest, rescue 10 survivors, 0, 10, level 9 civilization, admin adaptive battle armor, vacuum 0 point energy. My middle school teacher never taught me this. How can I shake the feeling that you are deceiving me? All functions of the battle armor are now activated. Please, host, feel free to utilize them. Well then, I shall see just how formidable you truly are. Following the system's prompt, Zhang Xiaobei focused his mind. In the next moment, his right hand transformed into a dark red long sword, emanating fiery energy. The sword measured 3 meters in length. Goodness, you did not exaggerate after all. Chapter 3. Allow me to guide you to peace. After perusing the system introduction, Zhang Xiaobei began to comprehend his situation. Essentially, he needed to complete tasks to level up. For instance, rescuing 10 individuals would grant him 1/10 of the schematics for controllable nuclear fusion. What does this signify? It represents unlimited clean energy. It signifies a revolution in the energy era. But how am I to achieve this? By manual labor? Never mind. I must first complete the task and return home. It was already peak commuting hour, and he had hoped to return home and order a simple meal. Instead, he found himself embroiled in an apocalyptic scenario. Clutching his somewhat rumbling stomach, he retracted the adaptive armor's form, reverting to his ordinary appearance, still that of an office worker clad in a plaid shirt, just off work. In the office of the National Security Building in F City, S Province, a man wore a grave expression as he fixated on the surveillance footage. Slow down the footage. Yes, frame by frame. It was in this frame. The person vanished. The man shouted in excitement and anger. A nearby technician furrowed his brow immediately. The scenes captured by other cameras are identical. They all disappear in the same frame. Director Lin, is this? Are we witnessing a ghost? Lin Changjun felt a mixture of exhilaration and trepidation. Nonsense. We are staunch materialist warriors. After being reprimanded, the technician scratched his head. Puzzled. Then how do we explain this disappearance? Explain? Humph. You better be prepared. Come with me to report this. Bring the hard drive. By the way, has the facial recognition system confirmed his identity? The identity has been locked. The technician then handed over a densely packed document filled with dozens of pages. Lin Changjuan's expression darkened with each page he turned. Is this something a human could do? The document detailed Zhang Xiaobei's entire life from childhood to adulthood, filled with intricate records. Zhang Xiaobei, male, 25 years old. Date of birth unknown. Found and adopted by an orphanage in F City on November 5, 1999. At age 5, he snatched candy from a little girl in kindergarten. At age 6, he forcibly gave the candy back to the girl. At age 7, he caught snakes outside the orphanage to frighten his teacher. At age 9, he built a foam boat and set out to fish alone, only to be rescued by a passing fishing boat. At age 12, he dismantled the iron beams of a high-voltage power tower to sell for money to go to the arcade. At age 22, he saved enough money to travel abroad to Cherry Blossom Country, where he publicly urinated at the Yasukuni Shrine and then smuggled himself back to his homeland, incurring a fine of 20 from the Public Security Bureau for public urination. At 23, due to his workplace refusing to reimburse him for a 3,000 yuan meal with a distributor, he angrily demanded the other party's boss split the bill. Ultimately, he was fired for causing a 1.9 million order to go awry. At 25, he passed an examination for a temporary position in the XX community of F City. He was repeatedly complained about for taking the position of an elderly community member during mahjong games. This individual, how should one put it? Lin Changjun helplessly scratched his head and then instructed, forget it, pack up your things and come with me to report this. Yes. The seemingly harmless Zhang Xiaobei walked along the dimly lit streets at dusk, scanning for any signs. It appeared that the world had been embroiled in a zombie crisis for quite some time. Although he was unaware of the current timeline, he could still see blood-stained newspapers scattered on the ground. The date read, July 11, 2012. This meant that the timeline here should be roughly aligned with reality. Yet, after wandering for so long, he had not encountered a single survivor. No sooner had he thought this than he heard shouts ahead. Run! Run! Two girls were frantically running towards him, their faces gaunt and devoid of vitality. Their cheekbones jutted prominently due to prolonged hunger. Behind them, more than a dozen zombies pursued, drooling as if they had spotted the most delectable meat. Ah, a perfect opportunity for a harvest. Zhang Xiaobei bellowed, quickly, come this way, I will save you. However, upon hearing this, the two women froze in place, paralyzed with fear. Rather than face being devoured by zombies, the man before them seemed even more terrifying. After all, in the 5 years of the apocalypse, they had come to understand the darkness of human nature. Seeing the two women hesitating rather than rushing towards him, Zhang Xiaobei furrowed his brow. Do they wish to perish? I can save you. Come over here. Upon hearing this, the two women remained motionless. They had heard such words far too many times. Their companions had been deceived by various individuals. Some were taken in by those of fine appearance, turned into mere playthings, while others, less attractive, were consumed as food. The man before them bore no signs of filth. His face was clean. He must be a wealthy individual accustomed to a sheltered life. The more such people appeared, the more terrifying they were, for their survival was built upon the blood and flesh of the impoverished masses. Observing the two women's reluctance to approach, Zhang Xiaobei, for the sake of the task, had no choice but to step forward. With a flick of his wrist, his hand transformed into a 3-meter-long flame energy blade. Impressive, but not quite enough. A moment later, the blade extended to 8 meters. Now that was more suitable, as it was his first time slaying zombies to save lives. He certainly did not wish to soil his attire. With a sweeping motion of the 8-meter-long fiery blade, the staggering zombies were effortlessly decapitated. Heads tumbled to the ground, producing dull thuds. Only the scent of charred flesh lingered in the air, mingling with a foul odor. As his hand reverted to its human form, Zhang Xiaobei endeavored to present a friendly demeanor. Addressing the two women who were now seated on the ground in shock, he spoke. It's all right now. I have dealt with them. The two women remained in a state of disbelief. What had just transpired? Did they imagine it? His right hand transformed into a sword. A flaming one at that? Are you human? The slightly shorter woman stammered, the first to break the silence. Indeed, I am just a regular person, albeit with a few skills. He chose not to elaborate on his background, merely brushing over it lightly. Let us proceed. This street is littered with zombies. Please share with me what has transpired. I have just arrived here. The two women were now somewhat perplexed. This world had been plagued by zombies for 5 years. Did anyone remain unaware of the global situation? Can we first move to a safe zone? We received a message from the radio that not far ahead, in the Hope Cape supermarket building, there is a gathering place for survivors. We merely wish to reach that location and survive. The slightly shorter woman, after speaking, cast a pleading glance towards Zhang Xiaobei. However, another woman suddenly burst into tears. Whoa, you're so amazing. Why didn't you show up sooner? If only you had come earlier. Xiang and the others wouldn't have died. Whoa. The shorter woman felt a pang of sorrow as she watched her friend weep. Indeed, even if it had been just 5 minutes earlier, they would still be here. Zhang Xiaobei's expression instantly turned fierce, his eyes wide with anger. His right hand transformed once more into an 8-meter-long flaming blade. Swish! 2 headless corpses collapsed with a creak, leaving only 2 heads, which stared at Zhang Xiaobei in disbelief. How shameless! They must have been infected by the zombie virus. Let me grant you salvation. Chapter 4. Arrival at the supermarket. Gazing at the 2 headless bodies lying in a pool of blood, a wave of nausea washed over Zhang Xiaobei. Even though he had witnessed numerous decisive killings, when it came to taking action himself, he still struggled to cope with the psychological burden. Ugh. System. Ugh. Panel. Zhang Xiaobei, male, 25 years old, health, 25 71, 100. Strength, 51, 100, 100. Speed, 42, 100, 100. Current civilization development progress 0. 7 level 9. Current main quest, save 10 survivors, 210. Fortunately, after a brief pause, he noticed the panel indicating that he had completed the task of saving 2 people, suggesting that this approach was indeed feasible. Good heavens, they only care about killing, not burying them. Zhang Xiaobei grasped the essence of this task. As long as he saved them at the brink of death, their subsequent fate was of little consequence to him. Watching the sun set, the streets began to echo with the growls of zombies. Although Zhang Xiaobei knew he could easily handle them, the ominous atmosphere still unsettled him. He needed to find a place to spend the night. Didn't they mention that Hope Corner supermarket had survivors gathering there? Without hesitation, Zhang Xiaobei set off towards the direction indicated by the two women, moving stealthily through the darkness. In the Dragon Kingdom, the National Security Headquarters building, Lin Changjun was currently being berated mercilessly. How could he report this situation? Report it as a supernatural event. There was no cause, process, or conclusion to convey. You want me to report this video to the higher-ups? What could a video even prove? Lin Changjun scratched his head awkwardly. Minister Qi, you have no idea. I was sitting in the car, and I saw that person's body just vanish. It might not be clear on the surveillance footage, but I witnessed it firsthand. Even a staunch materialist would lose confidence. Minister Qi, share your conjectures. Looking at the man across from him, whose striking features demanded his insight, Lin Changjun felt somewhat cornered. Minister Qi, I wonder, could it possibly be what those online sources are claiming about time travel? The atmosphere between the two fell into an eerie silence. Comrade Xiaolin, we must approach our work with a mindset of skepticism. We cannot dismiss any possibility. Immediately seal off the construction site at the subway entrance of Weiyang Square in City F. In addition to barricades, install a roof. All civilian drones, satellites, and any signals must be blocked. Deploy armed personnel for 24-hour shifts on site. Furthermore, send a team to monitor the residential area where Zhang Xiaobei resides. I want to ascertain the real situation the moment he reappears. I need to know where he vanished to during this time. 5 hours after Zhang Xiaobei's disappearance. Suddenly, 5 construction vehicles adorned with black and yellow stripes arrived at the subway entrance of Weiyang Square in City F. A group of neatly shorn workers disembarked, swiftly donning safety helmets, and immediately began setting up barricades. Within just 10 minutes, the entire subway entrance was sealed off. Curious passers-by who inquired were met with cheerful refusals from the workers. Ma'am, I don't know either. That night, major media outlets in City F began broadcasting. Dear citizens, due to construction, the subway entrance at Weiyang Square is temporarily closed. Please detour if you have travel needs. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. Phew, here I am. Zhang Xiaobei looked at the damaged supermarket entrance and finally recognized it. Hope Corner had transformed into Queen's Corner. After surveying the area and finding it deserted, he crouched down, rubbed some dirt on his face, and then rolled around on the ground until he appeared disheveled. Only then did he approach the modified steel door. Is anyone there? I heard your radio broadcast. I come seeking refuge. His voice carried a hint of the fatigue that follows hunger. Zhang Xiaobei was indeed famished. It was already midnight, and his last meal felt like a distant memory. Before long, footsteps echoed from behind the steel door. An observation hatch, barely wide enough to reveal a pair of eyes, opened, revealing a pair of somewhat crimson eyes staring at Zhang Xiaobei. Then, a series of unsettling creaks emanated from within as the steel door swung open, revealing a middle-aged man, approximately 40 years old, with a prominent scar running from his brow to his mouth. He was flanked by 2 subordinates armed with crossbows, who eyed Zhang Xiaobei warily. You haven't been bitten, have you? No. Zhang Xiaobei quickly explained. I've been starving for days. Do you have anything to eat? The scarred man exchanged glances with his companions and then warmly beckoned. Quickly come inside. We have over 30 people here, all banding together for warmth. We have food for you. Come in. As he spoke, the scarred man stepped aside, allowing Zhang Xiaobei to enter before promptly slamming the steel door shut behind him. The first floor of the supermarket was completely barren, with collapsed shelves piled against various windows. Following the 3 up to a room dimly lit by flickering oil lamps. Zhang Xiaobei observed that this space had once served as a cold meat storage area, but had now been repurposed into a shelter. Upon entering, Zhang Xiaobei couldn't help but wrinkle his nose. The stench of excrement, the foul odor of decay, and a mixture of sweat combined to assault his senses fiercely. Let me introduce you to everyone. We have a newcomer. The scarred man clapped his hands to rouse the crowd while pointing at Zhang Xiaobei. The onlookers, weary and listless, opened their eyes momentarily before closing them again. After 5 years of apocalypse, their hearts had grown as calloused as a butcher's knife. Yet, a few pairs of eyes among them instantly alerted Zhang Xiaobei. The way those few stood by the window, gazing at him. It was not the look of assessing a peer, but rather, as if they were eyeing a delectable feast. Come, have some water. The scarred man brought over a plastic bowl, filled with a murky liquid. This. Zhang Xiaobei hesitated. Are you sure this is safe to drink? No choice. The filtration system can't be replaced. This is the cleanest water we have. In this world, who will be picky? Just surviving is enough. No, it's fine. I'm not thirsty. Zhang Xiaobei endured his discomfort and politely declined. Where did you come from? The sudden inquiry from the scarred man caught Zhang Xiaobei off guard. Arriving in this world, he was still unaware of its true nature. Was it similar to his previous world? He could only respond evasively. I just ran from the north of the city. Impressive. You made it here alive after traversing over 20 kilometers? A fleeting glint of coldness flashed in the scarred man's eyes. In an instant, Zhang Xiaobei realized he had misspoken, just as he contemplated confronting the scarred man. A shout from the doorway interrupted. Not good, boss. The surrounding zombies have gone wild. They're all rushing towards us. Chapter 5. Am I becoming ration? When the subordinate relayed the news of a massive zombie gathering outside, the scarred man's expression changed dramatically. The calm demeanor he once held twisted under the dim light, revealing an undeniable panic in his eyes. After 5 years of apocalyptic survival, he understood well what a gathering of zombies signified. Ignoring Zhang Xiaobei, he merely exchanged a knowing glance with his 2 trusted subordinates, signaling them to keep a close watch on the newcomer. Having completed that, the scarred man seized a homemade crossbow and dashed towards the stairwell. Upon reaching the rooftop, illuminated by the faint moonlight, he beheld an overwhelming tide of zombies surging in from every street. They roared, dragging their mangled limbs, moving with an alarming swiftness, as though they were sharks sensing blood. Their sights set firmly on the supermarket. The color drained from the scarred man's face, despair etching deep lines across his weathered features. With such a horde of zombies, it was clear that not even heavy weaponry could withstand the dawn. He raced down the stairs, urgently whispering to those in the warehouse, "Silence. Anyone who makes a sound will be tossed out to feed the zombies." As his words fell, his team members grasped their crossbows, moving stealthily up the stairs to fortify the rooftop on the 4th floor. The cold storage room fell into a heavy silence, the only sound being the flickering of the oil lamps casting shadows on faces marked by numbness or fear. Zhang Xiaobei, feeling restless, brushed off the dust from his trousers and glanced at a woman huddled nearby. Her hair was dry and tangled, her face streaked with grime, and she clutched a skeletal child tightly in her arms. "Sister, how do you usually survive in this supermarket?" He attempted to strike up a conversation, his tone as gentle as possible. However, the woman merely glanced at him, her eyes devoid of warmth, before returning her gaze to the child, treating Zhang Xiaobei as if he were invisible. Just as Zhang Xiaobei was about to voice his frustration, a young girl approached him. She appeared to be around 18 or 19, clad in oversized jeans that looked salvaged. With a timid eagerness, she said, "I just arrived here today. They're really nice. They gave me a pack of expired instant noodles and let me stay." At this, the previously silent woman suddenly scoffed, her laughter sharp and cold, as if mocking a grand joke. A chill ran down Zhang Xiaobei's spine, and he became acutely alert. Images from apocalyptic narratives flashed through his mind. Living humans kept as rations, false kindness used to exploit women, outsiders treated as disposable property. Dark scenes piled upon one another. Coupled with the predatory glances from the scarred man's subordinates, he began to comprehend. This was not a sanctuary. He had unwittingly become someone else's reserve. An unsettling chill crept up his spine, not from fear, but from the irritation provoked by this sordid scheme. He slowly rose, adopting an innocent demeanor as he approached a young guard. The man, in his 20s, had dark skin and kept his crossbow trained on the center of the warehouse, scanning everyone with a vigilant eye. "Hey, need a hand?" Zhang Xiaobei rubbed his hands together, wearing a naive smile. "There are so many zombies outside. I'm young and strong. I could help move things or pass arrows. What is it to you? You think you can just step in?" The man barked dismissively, his tone dripping with impatience and disdain. He then raised his crossbow slightly, aiming it at Zhang Xiaobei's chest. "Stay put. If you keep moving around, I'll shoot you and toss you to the zombies." Zhang Xiaobei maintained his smile, continuing to approach with a harmless demeanor. He even slowly raised his hands, palms up, to show he bore no weapons. As he walked, he spoke in a familiar tone. "No need to be so irritable, brother. I genuinely want to help." Suddenly, his eyes widened, filled with disbelief. "Hey, aren't you that guy?" He quickly scratched his head. "You know, the one." The guard's brow furrowed. Confusion etched across his face. "Who are you?" "It's me." Zhang Xiaobei pressed on, stepping closer. "Zhang Xiaobei. We used to play together as kids. Remember?" This absurd declaration left the guard utterly bewildered, momentarily frozen in place. "When did I?" In that split second, the innocence in Zhang Xiaobei's eyes vanished. replaced by a chilling resolve. He exerted force with his legs, his genetically enhanced speed surging to its peak. Like a wraith, he closed in. His right hand, morphing as silvery metal, surged forth. A 3-meter-long dark silver spike erupted from his hand, glinting with lethal ferocity, and with a sickening thrust. It pierced through the guard's chest. The dull, piercing sound of flesh being violated resonated, warm blood gushing forth, splattering Zhang Xiaobei's clothing. Without waiting for the guard to react, Zhang swiftly covered his mouth with his left hand, stifling the scream that threatened to escape his throat. The guard's body convulsed violently, his eyes bulging in disbelief and terror. Almost immediately, the fingers of Zhang Xiaobei's left hand transformed into elongated metal spikes, mercilessly plunging into the guard's throat and mouth. The sounds of cracking teeth and punctured flesh melded together, rendering the man unable to articulate a coherent sound, only able to emit gurgling bubbles of blood from his throat. Gradually, the guard's body began to convulse, losing strength. Zhang Xiaobei leaned in close, whispering in a tone only they could hear, "Relax. Dizziness is normal." His voice was eerily calm, as if he were soothing rather than killing. Carefully, he lowered the body to the ground, striving to avoid any noise. Zhang Xiaobei wiped his hands on the guard's clothing, casting a glance at the others in the warehouse. Though the commotion had been minimal, several witnesses had noticed. The young girl's face turned pale with fear, her mouth covered as she trembled. The woman who had laughed earlier now stared wide-eyed, shock filling her gaze as she looked at Zhang Xiaobei. The child she held whimpered softly, muffled by her tight grip. Other survivors either cowered in corners, trembling, or watched him with expressions of mixed emotions, fear, curiosity, and a hint of hidden anticipation. Zhang Xiaobei disregarded their stares, his focus honing in on another guard positioned at the warehouse entrance. The man had his back turned, ear pressed against the door, oblivious to the fate that had befallen his comrade. Chapter 6. Confirmation. It's Blue Star. Having dealt with the second guard without a sound, Zhang Xiaobei swiftly penetrated the man's neck from behind. As the body crumpled to the ground, Zhang Xiaobei effortlessly caught it and tossed it aside. He brushed off non-existent dust from his hands, bent slightly, and ascended the staircase. The corridor was enveloped in darkness, with only the sporadic whispers from the rooftop mingling with the groans of the zombies below. Upon reaching the fourth-floor landing, he cautiously peeked out and immediately spotted Scarface standing at the edge of the rooftop with 6 henchmen. The group held their breath, crossbows aimed at the street below, their gaze fixed on the approaching horde of zombies. The undead had gathered at the base of the supermarket, their grim silhouettes writhing in the night, their roars deafening. "Focus. Don't let them climb up," Scarface hissed, trembling with urgency, still reeling from their recent despair. Zhang Xiaobei scoffed, no longer wishing to conceal his presence. After all, these scoundrels were doomed. There was no need to waste time in stealth. In the blink of an eye, a silver-white battle armor enveloped him, its anti-gravity system lifting him effortlessly into the air. A flash of light emanated from his left hand, and a 5-meter-long Nepalese saber materialized before him, its blade shimmering in the moonlight with an ethereal glow, rippling with faint energy. His right hand transformed into a half-height alloy shield, etched with intricate patterns. "Who is that?" Scarface felt the disturbance behind him, and with a startled gasp, all his henchmen turned around. Before they could react, Zhang Xiaobei became a blur, darting toward Scarface. He felt a rush of wind, sharp and metallic, brush against him. Instinctively, he raised his bow to defend himself, but his speed was no match for Zhang Xiaobei's. In the next instant, his vision spun, and all he could hear was the rush of wind and the sickening sound of flesh tearing at his throat. His head, propelled by inertia, rolled off the rooftop's edge, tracing a haunting arc through the air before crashing heavily to the ground below, the dull thud resonating amidst the zombies' cacophony. The remaining 6 henchmen stood frozen, their crossbows clattering to the ground unnoticed. They stared, wide-eyed, at Zhang Xiaobei, suspended in midair. A vision of shock and terror etched on their faces, hovering effortlessly, with a 5-meter-long sword in one hand and an imposing alloy shield in the other. His silver armor gleamed with a divine radiance under the moonlight. He appeared as if a deity had descended upon the earth. "Oh my!" One of the henchmen gasped, his voice trembling, a mix of fear and awe rendering him speechless. Zhang Xiaobei wasted no time. He flashed forward, seizing one of the henchmen effortlessly. "Tell me, where is this place?" His voice resonated through the armor, cold and mechanical. "And what are you doing in this wretched locale?" The captured henchman, pale as a ghost, stuttered, This is F City, south of the city. Cape of Good Hope supermarket. We are just trying to survive. Trying to survive? Zhang Xiaobei raised an eyebrow, pressing the tip of the Nepalese saber gently against the henchman's throat, sending a shiver down his spine. Are those in the warehouse your companions? Or are they your stored food supplies? I. The henchman's gaze darted, clearly lying, unable to meet Zhang Xiaobei's piercing eyes. Still not speaking? Zhang Xiaobei tightened his grip, the blade breaking the skin. A trickle of dark red blood seeping forth. Very well, it's a waste for scum like you to live even a second longer. As he spoke, he dragged the henchman towards the rooftop's edge, where the zombies below had begun to scale the supermarket walls, their decayed faces upturned, drooling hungrily. Please, I'll talk. The henchman cried, terror-stricken. I'll tell you. Just don't throw me down. Zhang Xiaobei paused, his tone unwaveringly icy. The people in the warehouse. They were all deceived by our leader, Scarface said. In this apocalypse, fearing a food shortage, he lured survivors to serve as reserves. The women would be used by the brothers. We were forced. Upon hearing this, the remaining 5 henchmen turned ashen, some instinctively attempting to retreat, only to be frozen in place by Zhang Xiaobei's chilling gaze. His expression darkened, his stomach churning at the revelation. Indeed, this rabble was more repugnant than the zombies. What world is this? He pressed, tightening his grip on the henchman's throat. Don't give me any nonsense about an apocalypse. I want to know, is this Blue Star? Yes, it's Blue Star. This is Blue Star, Dragon Country, F City. The henchman nodded frantically. 5 years ago, in 2012, the zombie virus suddenly broke out, and the city fell. We hid here, initially taking over the supermarket with food and drink. But after we ran out, we survived by deceiving other survivors. Zhang Xiaobei's mind raced with understanding. This was a parallel world to Blue Star, eerily similar to the F City he knew. He glanced at the encroaching zombies below and then at the henchman in his grip, a wicked smile curling at his lips. Forced, you say? If your leader can force you, I can do the same, can I? The henchman's eyes widened in terror as realization dawned on him. No, don't. Before he could finish, Zhang Xiaobei released his grip, and the henchman plummeted from the rooftop, swallowed by the horde below, his brief scream cut short. The remaining 5 henchmen, paralyzed with fear, either collapsed to the ground or turned to flee towards the staircase. Where do you think you're going? Zhang Xiaobei pursued them, soaring into the air, swinging his alloy shield. The sound of a sickening thud echoed as he struck the one at the front, sending him crashing against the railing, lifeless. You dare deceive me, he shouted, swinging the Nepalese saber, cleaving through 2 more henchmen with a flash of steel. The rooftop quickly transformed into a slaughterhouse. The sounds of agony and the clash of metal mingling with the roars of the zombies below. Zhang Xiaobei moved with precision and speed, his armor's strength allowing him to dispatch the remaining henchmen with ease. Within half a minute, they were all vanquished. He landed on the rooftop, surveying the carnage around him before glancing at the system panel. Saved 10 survivors, 210. TSK, it seemed he needed to rescue the others in the warehouse. Sheathing his sword and shield, he reverted his armor to its ordinary form and turned towards the staircase. He hoped the remaining survivors would be sensible and not force his hand again. Just as he reached the 3rd floor, he heard commotion below. Voices raised in argument and cries. Zhang Xiaobei paused, his expression hardening. What nonsense was occurring now? Chapter 7. The innocent fool who survived for 5 years? Upon descending to the 3rd floor landing, the bickering from the warehouse assaulted his eardrums. Quick, while the boss isn't around, let us search the warehouse for food. Scarface's crew must have hidden something valuable. A tall, lanky man shouted, brandishing a broken steel pipe, leading the charge deeper into the storeroom, which had been Scarface's exclusive storage area, previously locked away. Don't go. A crisp yet obstinate voice halted him. It was the young girl who had just arrived today. With her arms outstretched, she blocked the entrance to the storage area, her face radiating indignation. That murderous man is a villain. He killed my brother who made me noodles. How can you assist such evil and follow him blindly? Noodles? The tall, lanky man seemed to find this the height of absurdity, scoffing derisively. Are you a fool? Have you been starved into stupidity? Do you really think they want to save you? They do not. The girl, her eyes reddening with urgency, bit her lip fiercely. My brother said if I stayed obedient, I would be safe. He even gave me water. He is not a bad person. Zhang Xiaobei leaned against the staircase railing, Nearly laughing in disbelief at her words, a deep frown etched on his face. How had this naive girl survived in a post-apocalyptic world for 5 years? Was a single packet of moldy noodles enough to win her over? He remained silent, crossing his arms and quietly observing, curious as to how this drama would unfold. Safe. A nearby man, his face bristling with stubble, suddenly erupted with emotion, shoving the girl aside and roaring in a voice strained with suppression. Do you even know what safety is? It is watching those beside you being dragged out and turned into meat for soup. It is waiting 3 days to eat a mouthful of moldy grain, only to be consumed as reserve food. You lie? The girl persisted, defiantly raising her chin. Lie? The stubbled man pivoted sharply, pointing at Mrs. Chun, who was cradling her child in the corner. His voice escalated, tinged with a sob. If you don't believe me, ask Mrs. Chun. When she arrived, the scarred man promised to protect her and her child. And what happened? She was violated by them for an entire day. Her child nearly starved to death. They are not human. His words struck like a thunderclap, plunging the warehouse into sudden silence. Mrs. Chun, holding her emaciated child, trembled violently. Her withered hair obscured her face, and her shoulders shook with suppressed sobs that tugged at the heartstrings. The child, frightened, began to cry softly, his gaunt cheeks etched with terror. And my wife, shouted another stocky man, his eyes reddened with grief. She was killed by the scarred man for resisting. Her throat slit and thrown out for the zombies. More voices began to rise in lamentation. Some pounded their chests, others crouched on the ground, wiping away tears. The pent-up despair and anger of over a year erupted in that moment. The girl stood frozen, her indignation fading gradually, replaced by confusion and disbelief. She gazed at the weeping crowd, then at Mrs. Chun, who was silently shedding tears. Her lips quivered as she incredulously spoke. How can this be? They told me that once I arrived, I would be safe. They would help me. Help you? Help you become the next Mrs. Chun, or the next pot of soup. The tall man sneered, growing impatient. What is the point of wasting breath on such a mindless person? We need to find food. As several of them attempted to bypass the girl and surge inside, some even resorted to physically binding her with the ropes used for cargo. The girl struggled, her voice rising in protest. You can't do this. You are the bad ones. Zhang Xiaobei could no longer bear to listen. Her foolishness had surpassed the limits of the apocalypse. He descended the stairs, his heavy footsteps resonating clearly in the silent warehouse. Upon seeing him, the crowd seemed to see a savior, instantly dropping to their knees. Some began to kowtow, their voices trembling with relief. Boss, thank you for saving us. We can finally live. Only the bound girl remained defiant, her expression one of unwillingness, her gaze towards Zhang Xiaobei brimming with hostility. Zhang Xiaobei surveyed the kneeling individuals, his tone flat. Rise. You are free now. I will stay here for the night. At dawn, whether you choose to stay or leave is entirely your decision. Live well. No sooner had he spoken than the bound girl cried out, writhing in her bindings. Hey, you there. Help me. They've tied me up. Let me go? Zhang Xiaobei frowned slightly, his eyes cold and devoid of warmth as he replied. The so-called good people you believe in are all dead. I killed them. His succinct statement sent the crowd into a frenzy of tears of joy. Well done. Mrs. Chun wept, clutching her child. These beasts should have been killed long ago. Indeed. The boss is ridding us of evil. They exclaimed. We have been trapped here for more than a year, watching familiar faces turn into monsters. If it weren't for the boss, we would have no future. The crowd clamored, expressing gratitude and lamenting their misfortunes. But the girl continued to shake her head vigorously. You are all lying to me. Lying. They were clearly good people. Why are you saying this? Zhang Xiaobei, losing his patience with her obstinacy, stepped forward, bending down to grip the back of her collar and marched straight towards the ground floor. The onlookers exchanged bewildered glances, uncertain of his intentions. Was he going to kill her? She was merely a foolish girl, albeit somewhat pitiable. Ignoring the murmurs behind him, Zhang Xiaobei reached the heavy steel door on the ground floor. With a swift motion, he pulled it open. A chilling gust swept in, carrying the stench of decay from the outside, the distant howls of zombies suddenly clear and menacing. The girl's face paled in terror as she struggled even more fiercely. What are you doing? Let me go? I won't go outside. There are zombies. Amidst the gasps of the crowd, Zhang Xiaobei casually tossed her outside, as if she were a mere garbage bag. Ah! The girl's scream shattered the night. The wandering zombies, attracted by the sound, surged towards her like ravenous wolves scenting blood. Just as she was about to be devoured, Zhang Xiaobei waved his hand. A silver battle armor enveloped his arm, and an 8-meter-long flame sword materialized. The dark red flames crackled, unleashing a scorching wave. With a swift motion, the blade sliced through the nearest zombies, severing them in half. The burnt flesh fell to the ground, blackened blood splattering all over the girl. She lay there, petrified with fear, her scream caught in her throat, her pupils dilated. In a daze, she struggled to comprehend the gruesome scene before her, drenched in the blood of the undead, trembling uncontrollably. Zhang Xiaobei retracted the flame sword, the armor reverting to its original state. He glanced at the system panel that popped up before him. Save 10 survivors, 310. At that moment, a wicked thought surged within him. Chapter 8, Bug Exploit? Zhang Xiaobei stared at the system panel. Save 10 survivors, 310. In the darkness of the night, his eyes suddenly gleamed with a newfound intensity. A ludicrous idea exploded in his mind. What if I saved this girl, then tossed her out again to lure the zombies? And saved her once more? Could I not repeatedly accumulate points? Once this thought took root, it spread like wild grass, unstoppable. He turned to look at the girl, who was still quivering on the ground, a cold smile forming at the corners of his mouth. Don't be afraid. I assure you, you want to die? The process might be a bit unpleasant, but you should be able to endure it, right? After all, you just made me feel quite nauseous. With the crowd at the warehouse entrance watching in stunned silence, Zhang Xiaobei strode confidently out of the steel door, completely disregarding the few lingering zombies outside. He bent down, showing no disdain as he lifted the girl by the scruff of her neck, akin to grasping a ragged doll, and hoisted her up. The girl, still paralyzed with fear from the zombie, felt the familiar force. When she looked up and saw Zhang Xiaobei's face, tears instantly welled in her eyes. She then cried out, nose running and tears streaming, "Woo-woo. I knew you wouldn't really kill me. You're a good person. I was wrong to say you were bad." As she wept, she reached out to grasp Zhang Xiaobei's arm, seeking comfort. Yet, in the next moment, the familiar sensation of weightlessness returned. Whoosh! Thud! A perfect parabolic arc swept across the night sky once more. Before the girl could react, she was flung away again, crashing heavily onto the ground not far from the supermarket. A piercing scream erupted, this time filled with despair and confusion. The nearby zombies, drawn by the sound, surged forward with ravenous urgency, their decaying hands nearly grazing her hair. "No, please." A voice from the warehouse cried out, instinctively wanting to rush forward. But in the next instant, the person beside him held him back tightly. Zhang Xiaobei glanced back at him, causing the man to feel a chilling dampness creep down his spine, just as the girl was on the brink of being devoured by the zombie's gaping maw. In that moment of utter hopelessness, Zhang Xiaobei's figure flickered and appeared before her. With a swift motion, he swept his hand, and an 8-meter-long flaming blade, ablaze with fierce light, swept through. In an instant, the advancing zombies were cleaved in two, the acrid scent of char mingling with the stench of decay. He quickly glanced at the system panel. Rescue 10 survivors, 510. Damn, this is truly useful. This bug can be exploited. Zhang Xiaobei's face lit up with excitement, completely disregarding the girl's body, which had stiffened in terror. He bent down and once more seized her by the scruff. The energy jet beneath his feet activated, propelling him and the girl into the air. The people in the warehouse crouched at the entrance, watching the absurd scene unfold before them, utterly at a loss for words. The man, soaring like a deity, wielding the power to slay zombies with a mere wave of his hand. Could a normal person truly accomplish such feats? He strolled around the supermarket, holding the girl, who was on the verge of fainting from crying. Occasionally, he would toss her into a horde of zombies, waiting for them to pounce before he swung his blade to save her. No. Rescue 10 survivors, 610. No. Rescue 10 survivors, 710. No. Rescue 10 survivors, 810. The girl, who had initially cried out pleadingly, gradually became numb and dazed. Eventually, she was left trembling unconsciously, her entire body covered in the black blood and filth of zombies, her hair in disarray, her face devoid of color. Her gaze was vacant, like a marionette, her lips mechanically repeating, "Don't throw me. It's too scary. I was wrong." Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaobei became increasingly exhilarated, flying through the night with the girl in tow. The surrounding zombies were drawn in waves, the pile of corpses growing higher and higher. Finally, as he rescued the girl from the jaws of a zombie for the last time, the system notification chimed in. Rescue 10 survivors, 10-10. Success. Zhang Xiaobei's lips curled into a grin as he looked down at the girl, who was now utterly broken. She was still softly sobbing, mumbling incoherently. I was wrong. Woo-woo. Please stop tormenting me. It's too scary. Woo-woo. I won't say you're a bad person anymore. At that moment, Zhang Xiaobei had no patience for her ramblings. After repeatedly saving her, her cries had begun to grate on his ears. Were it not for the fact that her sobs attracted zombies, he would have long since silenced her. He frowned and impatiently muttered, "Noisy." No sooner had he spoken than he waved his hand. In the next second, a soft sound echoed. The world fell silent. The girl's eyes widened, her throat still making gasping sounds. But in the next instant, her body ceased to tremble. A warm flow spread in Zhang Xiaobei's hand. He disdainfully wiped his hand on the girl's clothing. Just then, the system's cold mechanical voice resonated in his mind. Ding. Congratulations, host, for completing the novice task. Rescue 10 survivors. Task evaluation, highly efficient. Reward issued. 1 fragment of the controllable nuclear fusion blueprint, 110. Collecting 10 fragments will redeem a complete blueprint. Current options available 1. Continue with subsequent tasks 2. Return to the original world. Please make your choice within 10 seconds. Damn it, I've come this far. And now you want me to go back? Zhang Xiaobei scoffed, feeling the power surging within his battle armor. He turned to gaze at the mountain of zombie corpses surrounding him, a glimmer of excitement flashing in his eyes. I haven't had my fill yet. Without hesitation, he shouted at the system panel. Continue the task. Ding. Host has chosen to continue the task. Triggering task combo. Task reward X2. Ding. New task issued. You have initially survived in the apocalyptic wasteland. Countless bloodthirsty zombies and myriad mutated creatures abound. Have humans truly lost their dominion over the planet? Task content. Please slay 1,000 zombies within 24 hours. Task reward. Controllable nuclear fusion blueprint fragment X2. Task failure. No penalties. Zhang Xiaobei's breath quickened in an instant. Are all novice tasks this simple? He found it hard to believe. After all, it was merely 1,000 zombies, and he had already dispatched nearly 100 with his sword. Moreover, he had this shrieking girl to attract the zombies for him. Wait, where's my bait? Looking down, he saw the girl, now lifeless, covered in blood and grime, her eyes wide with disbelief, still staring at him. Zhang Xiaobei immediately turned his head to look at the crowd hiding behind the door. The people instantly felt a chill from their tailbones to the tops of their heads. A dark red warning sign was subtly emerging. Chapter 9. Apocalypse Square Dance. Zhang Xiaobei turned to the survivors huddled at the entrance of the warehouse. His gaze swept over their pale faces. The thought of grabbing 2 of them as new bait was instantly dispelled. When he saw the child trembling in Chundezeo's arms, he paused momentarily. It wasn't he out of compassion, but rather, 2 people wouldn't he suffice. Everyone come out, he shouted into the warehouse. Still impatient, I have a few questions for you. Stop dawdling. The crowd pushed and shoved their way out of the warehouse, each person lowering their heads, afraid to meet his gaze, terrified of becoming the next one to be tossed out. Chundezeo held her child tightly, pressing the child's face into her chest, fearing he would witness the sea of corpses and blood outside. I ask you, Zhang Xiaobei leaned against the steel door, arms crossed. Are these zombies particularly sensitive to sound? Will any noise draw them in? A tall, thin man nodded vigorously, his voice trembling. Yes, yes, boss. Zombies have poor eyesight, but their hearing and sense of smell are exceptionally acute. Even the slightest noise can attract a horde. Oh, Zhang Xiaobei's eyes brightened, a new idea sparking in his mind. Do you know if there are speakers or amplifiers in this supermarket? Anything that can generate electricity? The crowd exchanged glances, and a scruffy man hesitantly spoke up. Yes, I used to be a security guard at the supermarket. When the supermarket held its grand opening, a plethora of powerful speakers and dance floor amplifiers were amassed in the storage room. Among them lay a dusty emergency diesel generator, intended to ensure the cold storage remained operational in the event of a power outage. However, its functionality remained uncertain. Lead the way, Zhang Xiaobei commanded, gesturing grandly. Guided by the scruffy man, the group made their way to the storage area behind the supermarket. Indeed, several high-powered speakers and amplifiers were stacked there, alongside a generator enveloped in dust. Zhang Xiaobei approached, kicking aside debris on the generator. He patted the machine's side. Can it still turn on? It should be operational. The scruffy man responded quickly. Previously, Scar and the others would occasionally use it for lighting, but right now, no one can venture out to gather fuel. Without uttering a word, Zhang Xiaobei turned and strode outside. Before anyone could process his actions, he vanished in an instant, soaring towards a nearby gas station. Moments later, he returned, hauling 2 barrels brimming with diesel, his hands glistening with black oil. Clearly, he had forcefully breached the gas station's underground reservoir. Fill it up and start the generator. He tossed the barrels onto the ground, pointing at the lanky fellow and the scruffy man. You two, get to work. If you mess this up, you'll have to go outside and lure the zombies. The duo trembled in fear, hastily rushing to the generator. They fumbled to pour in the fuel and pull the starter cord. With a few sputtering sounds, the generator roared to life. Current surged through the wires to the speakers, breaking the eerie silence with a crackling electric hum. Zhang Xiaobei casually picked up a microphone to test the sound quality. He rummaged through a collection of CDs, finally extracting one adorned with the faces of a man and a woman, smiling triumphantly. This one will do. Have the speakers move to the plaza in front of the supermarket, arranged in a circle. Place the amplifier in the center and insert the CD into the player. Everyone, gather in the center of the plaza. Zhang Xiaobei shouted to the survivors, his fiery blade waving lightly in the air. The blade's light grazed the ground, leaving a charred mark behind. Dance for me. The louder, the better. The more extravagant, the better. Anyone who dares to slack off will be tossed outside to feed the zombies. What? The crowd fell silent, disbelief etched on their faces. Boss, this is far too dangerous. The lanky man lamented. The plaza is surrounded by zombies, and dancing will surely attract even more. We will perish. You want to die? Zhang Xiaobei scoffed, pressing the switch on the speaker. I guarantee your survival, but you must lure the zombies to us. The more, the better. In the next instant, the infectious melody of the vast horizon is my love erupted from the speakers, the volume cranked to maximum, causing the ground to tremble. The cheerful rhythm juxtaposed with the apocalyptic scene of corpses strewn about created an exquisite contrast. Dance. Zhang Xiaobei's gaze turned icy, his fiery blade aimed at the crowd. With no other choice, the survivors reluctantly stepped into the center of the plaza. Chen Dazhao clutched her child, her limbs stiff as she swayed. The lanky man and the scruffy fellow clung to each other, dancing with a sorrowful awkwardness. Others wore ashen expressions, mechanically twisting their bodies. They all internally prepared for death. This leader was utterly mad. As the melody of the most dazzling national style crescendoed, the growls of zombies from the surrounding streets intensified. Even curious heads peeked from nearby apartment windows. First, shadows began to stir in the distance, followed by swarms of zombies pouring out from every alley. They rushed toward the plaza like cats drawn by a fish treat, howling and dragging their mangled bodies behind them. Countless dark figures spread through the night, seemingly endless. They're coming. So many. Some were so frightened they nearly collapsed. This is it. We're truly finished. Chen Dazhao tightly shut her eyes, trembling with her child in her arms. The stench of decay wafted closer, making them gag. The group turned pale, despair evident as the horde of zombies approached. They could even discern the rotting flesh on their faces. Just as all hope seemed lost, the next moment unfolded with astonishing spectacle. Zhang Xiaobei soared into the air, silver armor enveloping him in an instant. The 8-meter-long fiery blade reappeared, its flames blaring brighter, even shimmering with a hint of gold. 8 meters. Not enough. Give me a 40-meter blade. The fiery sword stretched rapidly in an unbelievable manner, emanating an exaggerated heat wave that illuminated the entire block. Here they come. Zhang Xiaobei shouted with exhilaration, his figure resembling a war deity as he charged into the horde. The fiery blade swept through, severing dozens of zombies in half. Their charred remains scattering. His anti-gravity engine continuously shifted direction, allowing him to weave through the masses with agility. Wherever he went, the zombies fell like wheat before a scythe. Meanwhile, the system panel displayed a flurry of numbers. Zombie kills 127, 1000. Zombie kills 256, 1000. Zombie kills 418, 1000. The survivors in the plaza stood in stunned silence, forgetting to dance, forgetting their fear. They watched in awe as the silver figure thrived amidst the zombie horde. The scruffy man muttered to himself, his despair replaced by shock. What the hell? Is this a god of slaughter? Chapter 10. The brilliance of humanity. Chen Dazhao released her hand from covering her child's eyes, who now gazed at Zhang Xiaobei, wielding his blade against the zombies. Fear had vanished, replaced by curiosity. Zhang Xiaobei relished the thrill of battle. The energy from his armor unceasing, the vacuum zero-point energy indeed lived up to its reputation. It was inexhaustible. He even began to showcase his prowess, transforming the fiery blade into dozens of spikes, simultaneously piercing through multiple zombies. At times, he enlarged his shield, swatting at the dense swarm of undead like swatting flies. Zombie kills 789-1000. Zombie kills 956-1000. Zombie kills 1000-1000. The moment the system notification chimed, Zhang Xiaobei cleaved a zombie in front of him, hovering in midair. His armor splattered with the black blood of the undead, yet still radiantly bright. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Slaughtered 1,000 zombies. Task evaluation, disturbance star. Playing music at 2 a.m. is indeed inconsiderate. Rewards granted. 2 fragments of controllable nuclear fusion blueprint, 310. Collecting 10 fragments allows for the exchange of a complete blueprint. Current options available: 1. Continue with subsequent tasks. 2. Return to the original world. Please make a choice within 10 seconds. Zhang Xiaobei, riding high on excitement, was about to accept the next task. However, he hesitated as the words formed on his lips. If I accept the task, can I return to the original world midway? Yes. Then I accept. Ding. The host has chosen to continue the task. Task combo triggered. Task rewards, X4. Ding. A new task has been issued. You have begun to make a name for yourself in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. In this world of despair, you can already be considered a formidable ruler. The survival of this planet bears your mark. Task details. Please slay 5 mutated beasts within 24 hours. Task reward. Controlled nuclear fusion blueprint fragments, X4. Task failure. No penalties. Zhang Xiaobei gazed at his blood-stained attire, and with a thought, his mimetic armor trembled. In the next moment, all the blood vanished without a trace. He pulled out his phone for a quick check. No signal. The clock read 2:27 a.m. Turning his gaze toward the bewildered bystanders, he commanded, "All right. Enough with the jumping. Clean up and head back." Everyone dared not voice any complaint and hurriedly teamed up to lift a speaker, perhaps due to prolonged hunger. Moving a speaker required multiple breaks to complete. Zhang Xiaobei, however, paid them no mind and strode directly to the second floor, where Scar had hidden supplies. At the innermost part, he found an iron door adorned with the sign reading finance room. It was likely the previous cash storage area of the supermarket. The door was sturdy, and without a key, it posed no challenge to Zhang Xiaobei. To him, it was as flimsy as paper. With a mighty kick, he sent the iron door crashing off its hinges. The exposed steel and concrete seemed to scold. "Couldn't you just use a key?" A brief glance revealed the interior to be pitch black. Zhang Xiaobei promptly retrieved his phone and activated the flashlight, inspecting the area. The supplies were nearly depleted, containing merely a dozen packets of instant noodles, some of which had already been opened, and 2 bags of rice infested with weevils. However, there were still several boxes of canned food. Upon inspecting one, Zhang Xiaobei noted the production date, September 2nd, 2011, with a shelf life of 10 years. It was now established that the current timeline was 2017, meaning it was still edible. Unceremoniously, Zhang Xiaobei collected all 4 remaining boxes of luncheon meat. He paid no attention to the pickled vegetables, instant noodles, rice, or moldy bread. Approaching the warehouse entrance, he called out to everyone, "Come over here. I've found plenty of food in this warehouse. You all can divide it up. Eat your fill and rest well." Upon hearing this, the previously despondent expressions of the crowd brightened with hope. "Really? Is it truly for us?" They gazed at the supplies stacked on the iron rack behind Zhang Xiaobei, their eyes widening. "It's for you. I have no need for such things." Zhang Xiaobei watched as the crowd began to distribute the food in an orderly manner. Even in their hunger, they maintained a semblance of decorum, not wanting to provoke him lest he cast them to the zombies. That night felt akin to a festive celebration. The oil lamp in the warehouse was moved to the center, casting a warm glow over a few bags of instant noodles, 2 bags of rice, and several packs of pickled vegetables piled on the ground. It may not have been a feast, yet it was the most extravagant meal this group had encountered in years. The people gathered around the supplies, refraining from fighting over them. They instinctively took a step back, allowing the front position for Sister Chun and her child, as well as for the old man who had remained silent in the corner. His hair was entirely white, and he hunched over, one of the earliest survivors deceived by Scar. With a frail body, he had survived solely on the meager scraps others had occasionally saved for him. A tall, thin man reached for a packet of instant noodles, trembling as he tore open the packaging. He turned and approached Sister Chun. "Sister, let the child have some first. He must be starving." The little boy in her arms was emaciated. His eyes fixated on the noodle packet as he swallowed hard, but instinctively shrank back into his mother's embrace. Poor child. Sister Chin's eyes reddened as she accepted the noodles, but did not give them to her child. Instead, she passed them back to the tall man. "Let us give it to old Zhang first. He hasn't had proper food in 4 or 5 days. The old man in the corner waved his hand. His voice hoarse. No, I'm old and useless. It doesn't matter if I eat or not. Let the children have it. Just eat it," grumbled the bearded man, who walked over and forcefully threw a packet of noodles onto the ground before the old man. Someone fetched a few dirty bowls, cautiously unwrapped the noodles, and divided the block in half, one half for the child and elder, and the other half for themselves. Lacking hot water, they poured the last bit of filtered water from the warehouse into the bowls to soak the noodles. Even if they remained hard, they tasted exceptionally sweet. Leaning against the staircase, Zhang Xiaobei opened a can of luncheon meat, chewing through the tasteless fare without feeling hunger. Perhaps he had overindulged. Observing the scene before him, his earlier impatience began to wane. He had expected these people, worn down by suffering, to act like ravenous wolves in a frenzy. Yet, contrary to his expectations, they chose to share the opportunity to survive with those even weaker than themselves. The bearded man chewed on a dry noodle, his peripheral vision catching a glimpse of a 17 or 18-year-old boy behaving sneakily in the corner. Upon glancing over, he saw the boy discreetly dividing his own noodles, offering a few pieces to a nearby injured youth. That boy had been deceived by Scar 3 days prior. Upon learning the truth, he had attempted to flee but suffered a broken leg. Now, he was feverish and unable to stand. "Why are you giving him food when you haven't eaten?" The young man scratched his head, a shy smile on his face. "He needs it more than I do. I can hold out." The injured boy's eyes glistened with tears as he took a bite of the moldy noodle. "Thank you," a simple phrase that rendered those around them silent. They had once been betrayed and harmed by those they trusted the most, treated like mere reserves to be trampled upon. They had witnessed the ugliest side of humanity. Yet, in this moment, they still chose to believe in one another, willing to share the scant warmth they possessed with those nearby. The oil lamp's glow illuminated each face, revealing traces of tears and exhaustion, yet also long-lost smiles. Zhang Xiaobei observed quietly, then suddenly raised his hand. Tossing the last can of luncheon meat he had toward Sister Chun. The can thudded to the ground before her. He said nothing, turning back to resume his position at the staircase. Sister Chun was momentarily taken aback as she opened the can, a rich aroma of meat wafting through the air. She did not keep it for herself, but divided the luncheon meat into several portions, each being just a small piece, distributing it among everyone present. By the end, she held only a tiny morsel, yet she smiled as she placed it into the child's mouth. The little boy chewed the luncheon meat, his eyes lighting up. Suddenly, he looked up at Zhang Xiaobei at the staircase and hoarsely uttered, "Teach, thank you, uncle." This heartfelt address caused a momentary pause among the crowd, who then turned to Zhang Xiaobei. At that moment, their eyes reflected no fear, only gratitude. Zhang Xiaobei scoffed, rolling his eyes. "Just eat your fill. Stop being so dramatic." Chapter 11. Perhaps he will return. The oil lamp in the warehouse continued to burn steadily, illuminating faces filled with contentment. No one mentioned the hardships of the past, nor did they fear the darkness outside. Even the feverish youth appeared somewhat improved, dozing against the wall. Zhang Xiaobei glanced at his phone. The clock now read 3:30 a.m. Rising to his feet, his armor automatically adjusted to fit his form. "Once you're done eating, clean up properly." His gaze swept over the crowd, finally resting on the tall, thin man. "Remember to securely close the steel door downstairs. We can't let the zombies in." A moment of silence enveloped the crowd, followed by nods of understanding. "Understood, esteemed leader. Rest assured, we shall secure it." Zhang Xiaobei uttered no further words and turned towards the staircase. "Where are you headed, esteemed leader?" A man with stubble inquired, his voice tinged with concern. Outside, not only roamed the undead, but also more fearsome mutated beasts. They had witnessed the horrifying transformation of wild dogs that could easily crush rebar with their jaws. Zhang Xiaobei paused momentarily but did not turn back, merely stating, "I have some matters to attend to outside." Before his words could fully settle, he had descended the staircase, his figure vanishing at the entrance of the supermarket. The crowd hurriedly crowded around the second-floor window, peering through the narrow gaps obscured by shelves. The night remained thick with darkness, and the remnants of the corpses lay scattered in the supermarket plaza. The stench, carried by the night breeze, subtly wafted through the window. Yet none felt disgusted. They beheld a silvery figure emerge from the steel door, standing resolutely in the center of the plaza. Suddenly, a pale blue energy light illuminated beneath his feet, and with a swift motion, he soared into the air, rising several meters above ground. He flew towards the outskirts of the city. The battle armor traced a brilliant arc under the moonlight, ascending higher and higher until it dwindled into a mere speck, eventually disappearing into the depths of the night. In the capital of Long Kingdom, the National Security Headquarters building remained brightly lit at 4 in the morning. Amid the swirling smoke, Minister Chi paced back and forth, hands clasped behind his back, his expression grave, brows furrowed. The only sound resonating in the conference room was the rhythmic tapping of his polished shoes. Abruptly halting, he cast a glance at Lin Changjun, who stood before the table. This individual had been missing for 9 hours. Had the troops stationed at the subway entrance of Wyong Square failed to convey any useful information? Lin Changjun observed the anxious demeanor of this high-ranking official and felt a chuckle bubbling within him. Initially, there was uncertainty about how to report such a situation. Yet he maintained a serious demeanor as he reported, "Minister, the station troops are on high alert. They have equipped themselves with millimeter-wave radar, along with underground pipeline detectors and electromagnetic signal capture devices. They are conducting 24-hour uninterrupted scans within a radius of 3 kilometers and down to 50 meters underground." He paused, his tone turning somber. However, thus far, no anomalies in energy or spatial fluctuations have been detected. Not even a trace of life signals remains. It is as if he has evaporated into thin air. Evaporated? Minister Chi's frown deepened with each passing moment. Continue to secure the site. Yes, Lin Changjun replied, adding, interference devices and detectors have been installed at the site, with shift frequencies encrypted to every 2 hours. All station personnel are armed and on standby, awaiting his return. Minister Chi nodded, his gaze shifting to a stack of documents on the table. It was Zhang Xiaobei's in-depth investigation report. How had they fared in tracing his life trajectory? Had any irregularities been discovered? We have conducted thorough checks. Minister Lin Changjun opened the report, detailing, Zhang Xiaobei is an external personnel from XX community in F City. S province, having worked at the unit for a year. His attendance has been impeccable, and his tasks have been mundane, involving no confidential information. Colleagues describe him as witty yet grounded, following a monotonous routine from the unit to his rental apartment. His diet consists mainly of fast food and snacks, with few friends. His only vice appears to be smoking. Noticing Lin Changjun's silence, Minister Chi cast a questioning glance. Furthermore, Lin Changjun continued. Analysis of consumer data revealed a peculiar penchant for bathing. Investigations into several bathing establishments he frequented uncovered instances of non-compliance with regulations. At this, Minister Chi's lips twitched. Regulations aside, continue your report. Lin Changjun adjusted his demeanor and proceeded. His academic history from elementary to university is clear, with average grades and no disciplinary records. Teachers and classmates describe him as an ordinary, optimistic individual, with nothing particularly noteworthy. On the day before his disappearance, he attended work as usual, had dinner, and complained to colleagues about tedious tasks. There were no signs of abnormal behavior, nor any prior incidents of disappearance. Minister Chi furrowed his brow. How could someone with such a regimented life suddenly vanish? Could it truly be, as you speculated, a traversal through dimensions? As it stands, we cannot dismiss this possibility. Lin Changjun hesitated before revealing the crucial lead. We discovered that Zhang Xiaobei is an orphan, having grown up in the Xinguang orphanage in F City. The headmaster who raised him passed away 3 years ago, and we have summoned the headmaster's children for questioning overnight. During the inquiry, we uncovered a solitary irregularity. What irregularity? Minister Chi pressed immediately. A celestial phenomenon. Lin Changjun's voice took on a strange tone. According to the headmaster's children, the headmaster once told them that on the day Zhang Xiaobei was found, back in 1999, a sudden brilliance enveloped the orphanage. It was neither sunrise nor artificial light, but a soft yet blinding white glow. It covered half the orphanage and lasted nearly 10 minutes before dissipating. After the light faded, they found Zhang Xiaobei swaddled at the orphanage's entrance, without any identifying marks, and the child showed no abnormalities. We consulted astronomical and physics experts for evaluation, and based on the headmaster's description of the scale and duration, we initially surmised it could have been a low-energy light sphere with a diameter of 500 to 1,000 meters. However, due to the passage of time, there is no physical evidence or visual documentation to corroborate, rendering it merely a historical clue. Historical clue? Minister Qi's eyes sharpened, and he slammed his hand on the table. No, document this thoroughly and archive it. This is crucial. Lighting another cigarette, he gazed out into the pitch-black night sky. I have mobilized the National Surveillance System and Population Flow Monitoring Network. Even border control data has been scrutinized. It has been confirmed that after Zhang Xiaobei's disappearance, he has not appeared anywhere within the country. This implies he may not even be within our borders. Perhaps, not even on Blue Star? Minister Qi turned, his gaze sharp. The central authority has provided a response, instructing us to closely monitor the subway entrance dynamics and continually investigate leads. However, one thing must be remembered. We are national security, tasked with protecting our citizens. We must maintain a favorable attitude and ensure no citizen feels disappointed in the state. Our mission is to assist him, not to question him. Lin Changjun felt a jolt in his heart, standing at attention to salute. Understood. Furthermore, dispatch a specialized investigation team to the Xinguang orphanage in F City to unearth any remnants left by the late headmaster. Interview anyone privy to the events of that time. No detail should be overlooked. Additionally, coordinate with research departments to analyze the relationship between that light sphere and spatial traversal, as well as extraterrestrial civilizations. Yes, I shall arrange this immediately. Lin Changjun turned to leave. Wait, Minister Qi called out, his tone softening. Inform the station troops to remain patient and continue waiting. He may not return, but perhaps he will. Chapter 12. Those who wish to act shall act. Suspended in midair, Zhang Xiaobei embraced the night wind as his battle armor adjusted the airflow, accelerating his speed. The desolate outskirts were eerily silent, save for the distant, sporadic groans of the undead. Below, the streets lay in ruin, illuminated by the moonlight. Abandoned vehicles lay haphazardly, while weeds thrived in the cracks of the concrete. Knowing he had arrived in F City, Zhang Xiaobei immediately chose to head towards a nearby ecological forest on the outskirts. Although man-made, it surely would not lack for wildlife. Indeed, merely a few hundred meters away from the ecological forest, a cacophony of deafening roars and sounds of struggle reached my ears. The growls of wild beasts mingled with piercing screeches, accompanied by the visceral sounds of flesh being torn apart. Even from a distance, the intensity was palpable. By heavens, this is promising. Zhang Xiaobei felt a rush of excitement. A fight indicated at least two mutated beasts, achieving 2/5 of his goal in an instant. Without hesitation, he lowered his altitude and dove toward the forest. As he drew closer, the sounds of battle became clearer, even revealing the brittle crack of bones shattering. When he descended to the height of the treetops and parted the dense foliage to look down, he was instantly struck dumb. In the clearing at the heart of the forest, a multitude of over 1,000 mice swarmed. Each mouse was the size of a full-grown domestic cat. Their gray-black fur sleek and glossy, sharp claws glinting ominously. Their long tails lashed about as they emitted shrill cries. They surged toward the center of the clearing, fiercely gnawing at a colossal, mutated wild boar. This beast was larger than an ordinary water buffalo. Its entire body was covered with thick, dark brown hide, marked with a myriad of deep and shallow claw marks. The black blood seeping from its wounds had long since congealed into scabs, and its curved tusks were a staggering half-meter long, their sharp tips stained with bits of mouse flesh and blood. Its limbs were as robust as pillars, and at that moment, it thrashed wildly, using its tusks to ram and its body to crush. Each powerful thrust could crush several mice. Yet the relentless tide of rodents continued to swarm. They gnawed at its eyes, ears, and jointed limbs, driving the massive creature to roar in desperation. Its eyes filled with fury and exhaustion. Can this truly be happening? Zhang Xiaobei's lips twitched. He had initially anticipated a clash between two formidable beasts, but found himself witnessing such a scene instead. Nevertheless, it mattered not. Whether it was a swarm or a single beast, as long as it was a mutated creature, a kill would count. He hesitated no longer, and, like a deity descending from the heavens, plunged down from the sky. The silver battle armor radiated a blinding light in the night. The two combatants froze in their tracks. The thousands of mutated mice collectively lifted their heads, their small eyes glimmering with a red hue, fixated on Zhang Xiaobei in midair. Their heads tilted in bewilderment, as if questioning the nature of this luminous being. The mutated wild boar also ceased its onslaught, raising its massive head, confusion evident in its murky eyes. Its rough snout sniffed the air, seemingly attempting to discern the scent of this suddenly appearing radiant entity. In their not-so-intelligent gazes lingered a glimmer of serious contemplation. Still hungry? Here I come, Zhang Xiaobei scoffed, his right hand instantly transforming. The silver armor reconfigured and extended into an 8-meter-long flaming sword. The dark red flames crackled, a searing heat radiating outward. Before the mutated creatures could react, he leaped into the fray, the sword sweeping through the air with a blazing brilliance. One stroke, 999. Whoosh! The fiery sword energy cascaded like a tsunami, instantly cleaving the front row of mutated mice in half. Their charred bodies scattered, cries of agony ringing out. The sword's momentum remained unabated, striking fiercely at the neck of the mutated wild boar, its tough hide parting as easily as paper. Black-red blood gushed forth, the boar emitting a heart-wrenching wail. Its massive body collapsed with a thunderous crash, cleaved into two halves. In but a second, the once fierce battleground transformed into a slaughterhouse. Upon landing, Zhang Xiaobei swung his sword, the flaming blade weaving through the horde of mice like a harvester. Each swing summoned a deluge of blood and the stench of charred flesh, as numerous mice fell in wails, utterly devoid of resistance. The vacuum zero-point energy flowed continuously, and with each kill, he felt a surge of exhilaration, the flames on his armor blazing ever brighter, until the last mutated mouse was crushed underfoot. The forest clearing finally returned to silence. All that remained were the glistening corpses strewn across the ground, the rich aroma of roasted meat mingling with the scent of char. Gazing at the aftermath of his handiwork, Zhang Xiaobei felt a twinge of surprise. Did I do all this? Then the system's notification chime resonated. Ding. Slain mutated mice, 972. Ding. Slain mutated wild boar, 1. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Slain 5 mutated beasts. 5. Task evaluation. Efficiency is explosive. Even the mouse-tied strategy can't withstand a single stroke of 999. Rewards granted. Controlled nuclear fusion blueprint fragments 4, 710. The system notifications continued to sound, and as Zhang Xiaobei observed the numerical changes on the panel, a sense of fulfillment welled within him. He turned to look at the bisected mutated wild boar. Its corpse still twitched slightly, and beneath the charred exterior, succulent meat glistened enticingly. The rich aroma of meat was irresistible. This was a supersized wild boar. His eyes brightened, and with a thought, he waved his hand, instantly storing the entire carcass into his 1,000 personal space. Regardless of its edibility, it was best to preserve it for now. Zhang Xiaobei smacked his lips, savoring the lingering scent of meat in the air, pondering, if the flesh of these mutated beasts tasted this good after being scorched by flames, could it indeed enhance one's physique as claimed? Since he was already here, opening the system panel once more, he glanced at the new notifications. Current available actions. 1. Continue to undertake subsequent tasks. 2. Return to the original world. Continuing. At the very least, he aimed to secure the controlled nuclear fusion before anything else. This task seemed manageable. As he spoke, the sword in his hand gradually reverted to a hand. Ding. Host has chosen to continue the task. Triggering task combo. Task rewards X8. Ding. New task released. You have already made your mark in the apocalyptic wasteland. In this apocalypse, you have established dominance. You possess a certain degree of influence over the survival of this planet. Task content. Please clear out all zombies in City F within 24 hours. Task reward. Controlled nuclear fusion blueprint fragments X3. Task reward. Carbon nanomaterial room temperature superconducting technology fragments X5. Task failure. No penalties. No way. Zhang Xiaobei felt a headache coming on as he looked at the task presented by the system. Is this a trap? Can I really handle all of City F? If zombies stand before me, can I slash through them one by one? I wouldn't finish in 24 hours. Just a moment ago, everything was fine. Saving 10 people and slaying a few monsters. Now you want me to cleanse an entire city? How utterly absurd. Damn it. Working like a mule during the day. And now coming home to face this? Do as you please, I'm quitting. After all, there's no penalty. Let us go. Take me back. Chapter 13, Tired. Let us destroy it. Buzz. After a wave of intense dizziness, Zhang Xiaobei groggily opened his eyes. The blinding light made him instinctively squint. The fresh air, so different from the apocalyptic scenes, caressed his nostrils, and a cacophony of shouts filled his ears. Target appearing. Target appearing. A man wearing a hard hat emblazoned with the words, Dragon Iron Bureau 55, looked at the suddenly appearing figure with a steely gaze. Before Zhang Xiaobei could react, a group of individuals clad in black uniforms surged around him. They moved swiftly yet without brutality, surrounding him in an instant. Just as he attempted to resist, he was gently pushed onto a stretcher. No. Hey, what are you doing? Zhang Xiaobei's mind was still in a haze. The exhaustion from the apocalyptic battles and the disorientation of returning to this scene intertwined, rendering his speech somewhat slurred. You must be Zhang Xiaobei. A tall man approached, pulling out a black badge and flashing it before him. The badge bore a golden emblem and the inscription National Security. We belong to the Ministry of National Security. It is not safe to speak here. Any matters should be discussed at headquarters. Zhang Xiaobei stared at the inscription on the identification and was momentarily taken aback. Am I truly back? How is it that upon my return, I am already being monitored by the National Security? He was about to inquire further when the man raised his hand to silence him. I have limited authority regarding the specifics. You may express yourself freely once you meet our minister. For now, please state your needs directly. I am hungry. Zhang Xiaobei sheepishly rubbed his stomach. Indeed, after a night filled with chaos, he had only consumed 3 cans of luncheon meat and was far from satisfied. The man paused momentarily, then swiftly pressed a device to his ear, reporting at a rapid pace. Target has appeared. Condition stable, no visible injuries. Secretly transferring to F City Airport. Target request, hunger. Prepare meals according to Target's usual consumption habits. After disconnecting, the intercom immediately responded, understood. The man then gestured for Zhang Xiaobei to follow him. Come with me. Zhang Xiaobei, bewildered, was escorted by several individuals into a nearby temporary passage. They soon boarded an inconspicuous black van. The vehicle departed directly from the construction site at the subway entrance. At this moment, the sky began to lighten, and it was precisely 5:30 a.m. On the road, morning joggers noticed the van, which sped by with an eerie smoothness. At every traffic light, the red signal would instantaneously turn green as the van approached. The journey continued unimpeded, as if the entire traffic system were yielding to its passage. Before long, the van arrived near F City Airport, halting before a tightly closed iron gate. The armed guard at the entrance immediately saluted upon seeing the identification presented through the window. Without further ado, he opened the gate. As the vehicle entered, Zhang Xiaobei was utterly astonished. The iron gate led directly to the airport runway. Goodness, are we boarding a plane directly? He mused, pondering the level of treatment he was receiving. 5 minutes later, the van came to a steady stop before the door of a sleek silver private jet. The man beside him pressed the device to his ear once more. Total distance 11.5 kilometers. Scheduled time 17 minutes. Target arrived on time. Requesting takeoff. Understood. The runway is already secured and cleared for departure. Following the man's communication, Zhang Xiaobei was bewilderedly assisted onto the aircraft. The interior was simply yet lavishly furnished, complete with sofas and small tables. Several attendants clad in flight uniforms stood by, ready for service. The plane soon taxied and took off. After circling in the air, it headed directly north. Meanwhile, within the F City Airport terminal, chaos erupted. What is going on? Delayed since 10 p.m. last night. And now it's nearly 6 a.m. A young man with a backpack pounded on the counter, his face flushed with anger. The weather is so fine. What do you mean by air traffic control? Exactly. I had a morning meeting at headquarters, and now it's ruined. A man in a suit chimed in agreement. Surrounding travelers nodded in unison, their grumbling voices filling the terminal. The airline staff, sweating profusely, apologized. We sincerely regret the inconvenience. Due to unexpected airport control measures, all flights are temporarily delayed. Please be patient for further updates. Temporary control? How can that plane take off? Suddenly, a man pointed towards the sky outside the terminal, shouting. Everyone turned in the direction he indicated, just in time to see that silver private jet break through the clouds. Soaring northward, The complaints grew even louder in an instant. Why can it take off? Why must we wait here? Is this control aimed at us? Humph. Control. It's only targeting us, ordinary folks. The terminal was in utter disarray. Zhang Xiaobei surveyed the spacious and comfortable seating around him, feeling a bit lost. But the next moment, an enticing aroma wafted through the air, awakening his appetite. He watched as an attendant brought over a plate of fried instant noodles, a hamburger, a chicken wrap, and a cup of iced cola. You know my favorite foods? He immediately disregarded his image and began to indulge. However, in the next moment, his brows furrowed in concern. The man across from him immediately became alert and asked, "What's wrong? Is there an issue with the food? Quick, don't swallow it." Observing the man's anxious demeanor, Zhang Xiaobei quickly reassured him. "No, it's just, where did you get these fried instant noodles?" Upon realizing there was no issue with the food, the man finally relaxed. "We accessed your consumption records and noted that you have over 20 transactions with this vendor each month, each transaction being 7 yuan. After some investigation, we located this street vendor. Upon inquiry, we learned that you always order 6 yuan worth of fried instant noodles there. 1 yuan for an egg." After the man explained, Zhang Xiaobei understood. No wonder the taste felt so familiar. I was even thinking, do they sell fried instant noodles on this plane? As Zhang Xiaobei continued to eat, savoring the hamburger, he took a big gulp of cola. Only after finishing did he contentedly pat his stomach. He then reached into his pocket, pulling out a pack of fine cigarettes. Just as he was about to light one, he remembered that smoking was prohibited on the plane. Noticing this, the man across from him immediately spoke up. "You can smoke." "Really?" "Indeed." Zhang Xiaobei happily lit one. "Ah, wait a minute." After taking a drag, Zhang Xiaobei felt his mind clear, suddenly recalling forgotten details. "You checked my consumption records? What about those bathhouses at 398 and 498, did you?" Seeing the man's affirmative expression, Zhang Xiaobei slumped back into his seat. "I'm exhausted. Let it all be destroyed." Chapter 14. I've laid my cards on the table. An hour later, the private jet landed smoothly at a military airport in the north. As the cabin door opened, a black armored Hongqi sedan awaited at the foot of the stairs. The car, dark as ink, had windows fitted with one-way bulletproof film. The tall man from the plane escorted Zhang Xiaobei into the vehicle, maintaining silence throughout the journey. Only as the door closed did he say into his earpiece, "Rest assured, the entire journey is secure." The sedan glided smoothly away from the airport, passing through a series of green lights. It headed directly for the unassuming, yet heavily guarded National Security Headquarters in the city center. The vehicle was saluted through the gate and, under the man's guidance, approached a nondescript power distribution room. Upon opening the door, there was merely an elevator entrance within. The man pressed the button for the -1 floor and stepped back. Standing outside the elevator, "Comrade, please proceed inside." "You're not coming with me?" Zhang Xiaobei instinctively asked. "I apologize, but I lack the necessary clearance." The man nodded slightly until the elevator doors slowly closed. Inside the elevator, Zhang Xiaobei found himself alone, the soft lighting creating a somewhat oppressive atmosphere. His previously anxious heart grew increasingly uneasy as the elevator descended. Odd. Why is this -1 floor taking so long to arrive? After a full 2 minutes, the elevator finally experienced a slight jolt. With a ding, the doors slowly opened. Outside stood 2 men, one clad in an administrative jacket, ruggedly handsome with piercing eyes. Another individual, attired in an impeccably tailored Zhongshan suit, bore an expression of benevolence. Upon seeing Zhang Xiaobei, the man in the administrative jacket extended his hand first, greeting. "Zhang Xiaobei, greetings. I am Lin Changjun, the director of the National Security Bureau of F-City, and this is Minister Qi from our department." Zhang Xiaobei, taken aback by the unexpected honor, promptly grasped the man's hand with both of his own. In a moment of spontaneity, reminiscent of military training during college, he raised his hand to perform an imperfect salute, exclaiming, "Greetings, leader." Lin Changjun was momentarily taken aback by the sudden display of respect. Just as he intended to suggest a retreat, Minister Qi raised his hand to halt him, saying, "Do you think that retreating now will spare you from future organizational inquiries? You are, after all, a key eyewitness. Come with me." Lin Changjun could only smile wryly and follow Zhang Xiaobei into the adjacent conference room. This conference room was notably austere, devoid of superfluous furnishings. A solitary incandescent lamp hung overhead, illuminating a solid wood table reminiscent of a tea table below it. The surrounding space was bare, lacking any additional installations. As Minister Chi's gaze shifted, Lin Changjun immediately understood and turned toward the corner to retrieve an old-fashioned film projector. Skillfully, he loaded the film and pressed the switch, the machine emitting a low hum of operation. Zhang Xiaobei, puzzled, could not restrain himself from asking, "Leader, wouldn't it be simpler to use a digital camera for recording? This antiquated machine feels excessively retro." Minister Chi chuckled lightly, patiently elucidating. All electronic devices carry the risk of leaking sensitive information. Even encrypted equipment can be breached. This vintage projector, however, allows us to remove the film once recording is complete and store it securely, ensuring confidentiality. Rest assured, your mobile device is of no use here. We are 80 meters underground, shielded by 3 meters of reinforced concrete, supplemented by a lead layer designed to block signals. Not only can you not make calls, but even location signals cannot be transmitted. Here, you may speak freely. Zhang Xiaobei's understanding dawned upon him, and he tentatively inquired, "Does this mean that the incident of my disappearance at the subway entrance of Wuyang Square was captured by surveillance?" Minister Chi nodded slowly, his eyes gleaming with curiosity. "Damn it, this wretched system. It didn't even give me a heads up." Zhang Xiaobei erupted in frustration, collapsing into a chair. Minister Chi, upon hearing this, felt his pupils dilate in shock. What had he just heard? A system? Could it truly be as Lin Changjun had insinuated? He refrained from interrupting, allowing the old projector to continue its silent documentation. Zhang Xiaobei's grievances poured forth. "I was just getting off work and riding the subway home while scrolling through Douyin when I stumbled upon an advertisement for an apocalyptic novel. Bored, I clicked in to read a few chapters. The author mentioned something about a random system gift, and thinking it was amusing, I left a comment. Suddenly, I found myself inexplicably bound to a level 9 civilization growth and transmigration system, which presented me with several beginner packages, and before I knew it, I was thrown straight into the apocalypse. What book? What title? Who is the author?" Minister Chi's eyes sharpened, pressing for details. Lin Changjun, too, tensed up, pulling out a notebook and pen, ready to jot down notes. The incandescent light cast elongated shadows of the 3 figures, and the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. Zhang Xiaobei ran a hand through his hair, striving to recall. The title was quite lengthy. It seemed to be called half a year after the apocalypse. "I'll take Huaxiao and flee." I can't remember it precisely, but the title was rather ostentatious. The author's pen name was also rather silly, by Michaoan. I never expected that commenting would lead to such chaos. "What exactly did you comment?" Minister Chi pressed. "Did the system trigger immediately after your comment?" I simply remarked, "With your deceptive replies, I don't believe it at all." Barely moments after posting, as I was about to scan a shared bicycle after exiting the subway, I saw the author reply, saying, "Ding, congratulations on acquiring a god-level transmigration system." I didn't take it seriously, but the next moment, a voice echoed in my mind, presenting me with a beginner package. And when I opened my eyes again, I found myself in the desolate wasteland of F City. The first task was to rescue 10 survivors. And if I failed to complete it, there were no penalties. But how was I to know? I hurriedly searched for survivors. Minister Chi and Lin Changjun exchanged glances, astonishment evident in their eyes. The notion of a system corroborated their previous conjectures, aligning perfectly with Zhang Xiaobei's mysterious disappearance. Minister Chi suppressed the tumult of emotions within him and gestured for Zhang Xiaobei to continue. "What else did you encounter in the apocalypse? What rewards did the system bestow upon you?" "Don't even get me started. That system treated me like a mere beast of burden." Zhang Xiaobei slammed his hand on the table, continuing his tirade. "After saving the survivors, it tasked me with killing 1,000 zombies, and once that was done, it demanded I cleanse the entire F city of zombies. Am I mad? As if being an extraneous worker at my job wasn't enough. Now I have to serve as the system's laborer in another realm? So I decisively fled back." He paused, suddenly recalling something. "Oh, right, the system did grant rewards. For saving survivors, I received fragments of a controlled nuclear fusion blueprint. Killing zombies yielded 2 fragments, and slaying mutated beasts gave me 4. I just need 3 more to complete the whole blueprint. There's also a fragment related to some carbon nanomaterial superconducting technology. Unfortunately, I didn't complete that last task and missed out. Fragments of a controlled nuclear fusion blueprint?" Minister Chi's pupils constricted sharply, and he unconsciously rose to his feet. "Are you certain it was controlled nuclear fusion? Not just task rewards, The system also provided a beginner package. Seeing the intense reactions from both men, Zhang Xiaobei decided to lay everything bare. The beginner package included 3 items. No sooner had he spoken than both men's eyes widened in profound astonishment. Suddenly, Zhang Xiaobei began to levitate off the ground, and his entire body appeared to be enveloped in metallic scales. Within less than a second, he was encased in a brilliant silver armor. A mechanical voice emanated from within the armor. Eidolon alloy mimetic combat armor, impervious to blades and firearms, basic operation. The most astonishing aspect was its ability to transform. As Zhang Xiaobei spoke, his right hand reformed and extended, morphing into a flaming long sword approximately 1 meter in length. The dark red flames crackling menacingly and emitting searing heat. He then reverted to his normal metallic-covered hand, and, before the 2 men, conjured an exact replica of Lin Changjun. Director Lin, greetings. Lin Changjun stared at the identical figure before him, his eyes widening in shock. Minister Qi was equally astounded. Even the voice was identical. Could such technology be powered by controlled nuclear fusion? Zhang Xiaobei returned to his original form, explaining, no, it seems to be something called vacuum zero-point energy. Vacuum zero-point energy? Minister Qi interjected, a hint of incredulity in his tone. Zhang Xiaobei nodded eagerly. Yes, that's it. Minister Qi, you are so knowledgeable. This kind of energy doesn't even exist. Minister Qi's breath quickened. Throughout his life, he had encountered numerous cutting-edge weapons. But a suit of armor that could transform at will and possessed infinite energy was far beyond the realm of current technological understanding. This transcended mere technology. It was undeniably fantastical. Meanwhile, Lin Changjun, standing to the side, was consumed by a mixture of astonishment and fear, his mind incessantly echoing. Is this what I can see at my level? By the way, I also have a portable storage space of 1,000 cubic meters. Zhang Xiaobei continued, waving his hand. And a half-slab of mutated wild boar appeared in the open space. A peculiar aroma of roasted meat instantly filled the enclosed area. Minister Qi even felt his mouth watering. This smell? It is even more fragrant than the specially supplied black pork. This is the mutated wild boar I killed. I had nothing to eat there and was starving all night. It smelled so delicious that I thought I might as well eat a bit. Minister Qi's expression changed immediately. You haven't eaten it yet, have you? No. Phew. Good thing you haven't eaten it. Minister Qi then let out a long sigh of relief. From now on, your security level here is the highest. Such unknown food must not be consumed casually. The nation can purchase this wild boar for research purposes. How much? Just say the word. Talking about money is so sentimental. Zhang Xiaobei scratched his head and replied, We are all family. I still have half a slab of pork in my space. I'll give it to the nation later. Anyway, I'm back now and will never go to that so-called apocalypse again. What the system provided is enough for my enjoyment. Upon hearing this, a question mark appeared above the heads of the 2 across from him. Looking at their expressions, Zhang Xiaobei suddenly felt uneasy. Do I still have to go? The dog system wants me to slaughter all the zombies in City F. Am I supposed to do this alone? Even if he rewards me with controllable nuclear fusion, I won't be able to use it. Before he could finish his thought, the 2 across from him spoke in unison. No, the nation needs it. Zhang Xiaobei's expression changed instantly, no longer the bitter face from before, but now filled with a smile. How could I not go? I must go? If the dog doesn't go, I will. I just came back to bring reinforcements. Such a good thing could revitalize our dragon nation. Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Minister Qi. You just said that the controllable nuclear fusion blueprint is still missing 3 fragments? Minister Qi suddenly shifted the topic back to the core issue. How much time is left for the mission to clear the zombies in City F? Countdown, let me check. The 2 then saw Zhang Xiaobei tapping his fingers in the air, as if operating an invisible screen. There are 21 hours, 31 minutes, and 12 seconds left. Instantly, the expressions of Minister Qi and Lin Changjun turned anxious. Lin Changjun, in my name, immediately report to the Central Command. Just say we have discovered a complete pathway to acquire controllable nuclear fusion technology, with 21 hours remaining for the mission, requesting the highest level orders. Yes. Lin Changjun did not dare to delay, grabbing the encrypted communicator from the table and rushing out the door. Minister Qi turned around, staring intently at Zhang Xiaobei. His eyes filled with gravity and hope. Comrade Xiaobei, this technology is crucial for the nation. Once successful, We can completely break free from energy dependence. Whether in national defense, people's livelihood, or technology, there will be a qualitative leap. It could even allow our dragon nation to gain complete discourse power internationally. I understand this task is daunting. An entire city's zombies. Even with your invincible battle armor, it would be difficult to tackle in 21 hours. He softened his tone, lowering his posture significantly. But the nation needs you. If you are willing to return to complete the mission, no matter what your demands are, as long as the nation can fulfill it, we will satisfy you. Seeing the pleading look in the other's eyes, Zhang Xiaobei immediately spoke up. Minister Qi, please don't do this. I need the nation to work with me to complete this task. As for my demands, I would like to ask. What demands? Feel free to mention. Minister Qi's eyes lit up instantly. He was not afraid of him making demands. He was afraid of him having no desires. In a cooperative relationship, one-sided contributions are never sustainable. Zhang Xiaobei scratched his head and asked, "This is about my diploma issue. I am currently working as an external labor contract worker in the community. It's just that this diploma is not enough for a bachelor's degree. I was wondering if I could be enrolled in a program in the future. No need for 985 or 211. Just a regular bachelor's degree will suffice. This way, I will have a bit of an advantage when looking for jobs next time." Minister Qi's expression became somewhat peculiar after hearing this. He had anticipated that Zhang Xiaobei would make grand demands, but when faced with the opportunity for the nation to soar, all contributions are worthwhile. However, he never expected that he would make such a request. It must be his love for the country. It must be that he does not want to trouble the nation. Hence, he made such a trivial request. Is that it? You can rest assured. Not only will your diploma be upgraded to a bachelor's, but you can even be upgraded to an academician without it being excessive. And your alma mater, isn't it a junior college? You can go straight to a bachelor's degree. No, that low-tier junior college is not worthy. Chapter 16. The Golden Crow Plan. Lin Changjun clutched the encrypted communicator, nearly sprinting out of the underground conference room. After ascending in the elevator, he dialed the communicator the moment he had signal. He took a deep breath, his voice tinged with urgency. "Elder Chun, I am Lin Changjun, the head of the National Security Bureau in City F. I am urgently reporting a matter of the highest level on behalf of Minister Qi." There was silence on the other end for 2 seconds, and then a calm yet slightly cautious voice responded. "Lin Changjun? That little Qi wouldn't use this line to contact me unless something serious happened. Is it border unrest or a technology leak? Neither. We have discovered a traveler from our Blue Star Dragon Nation. He has crossed over into another apocalyptic world. Currently, it is known that he has bound a system capable of producing controllable nuclear fusion technology. The person is now safely back on Blue Star and has been received at the National Security Headquarters." A traveler? The voice on the other end suddenly rose in pitch, followed by a brief silence. Lin Changjun could hear the faint sounds of furniture shifting, and the next second, the elder's voice came through, filled with incredulous excitement. "Say that again. A crossing to another world? And he can obtain controllable nuclear fusion technology?" "Yes, absolutely true." Lin Changjun quickly began recounting what he had seen and heard. "His name is Zhang Xiaobei. Good, good." The elder's laughter echoed over the phone, filled with uncontainable excitement. "This is our Dragon Nation's opportunity. A tremendous opportunity. Bring him to see me." "No." The elder's tone shifted. "I will personally come over now. Tell little Qi to keep the person safe and guard all information. I'll arrive within 10 minutes. Beep, beep, beep. The call was hurriedly ended, and Lin Changjun gripped the communicator, his palms drenched in cold sweat. He hurriedly took the elevator back to the conference room. Upon pushing the door open, Minister Qi immediately stood up. "What is the update?" "Elder Chun is coming in person." Lin Changjun panted as he reported. "He'll arrive in 10 minutes. Minister Qi's eyes sharpened, and he immediately turned to leave with Lin Changjun. "Attention, everyone. The headquarters is entering the highest level of alert. Seal all entrances and exits. Unauthorized personnel are strictly prohibited from entering or exiting. Internal personnel are forbidden from leaving. Activate the highest level information shield." "Yes." In the underground conference room, Zhang Xiaobei leaned back in his chair, already drowsy. A night of fighting in the apocalypse combined with back-and-forth crossings had left him fatigued, despite his enhanced physique. In a daze, he heard heavy yet steady footsteps and the soft sound of the door turning. He suddenly opened his eyes wide. Upon recognizing the figure that entered through the door, Zhang Xiaobei instantly froze. Subconsciously rising to his feet, His tone laced with disbelief, he exclaimed, "Old Chen?" The visitor, clad in a gray Zhongshan suit, had hair that was grizzled yet retained a vigorous spirit. With a warm smile, Old Chen waved his hand and said kindly, "You must be Xiao Bei, please. Have a seat. There's no need to be so formal." He took a seat opposite Zhang Xiaobei, his gaze settling upon him. "You haven't rested well, have you? I apologize for disturbing your rest, but the matter at hand is too critical." Upon receiving the news, I could hardly remain seated. I simply had to verify the content of Minister Qi's report in person. Zhang Xiaobei felt a warmth in his heart, understanding the elder's intention. He took a couple of steps back, creating some distance. "If you wish to see, I shall present it to you." Before his words faded, silver-white metallic scales abruptly manifested across his body, enveloping him in an instant. The Edelman alloy mimicry armor fitted him perfectly, with faint blue energy patterns coursing all over. There were no external flames, nor excessive transformations. It retained the most basic form of battle armor, yet exuded an overwhelming sense of advanced technology. Old Chen's breath hitched slightly, his eyes fixed intently on the armor. With a mere thought, Zhang Xiaobei commanded the armor's shoulder metal to subtly rearrange into a simplistic shoulder guard form, only to revert to its original state moments later. The entire process was seamless and silent, as if the armor were an intrinsic part of his body. "Withdraw." At his gentle command, the armor instantly dissipated, transforming back into ordinary clothing, as if that fantastical equipment had never existed. Old Chen slowly raised his hand, signaling him to sit, his voice filled with admiration. "What an extraordinary piece of technology. Truly remarkable." Then, shifting to a serious tone, he inquired, "You mentioned controllable nuclear fusion technology, and you only need the last 3 fragments to complete it? Moreover, you can obtain fragments of the carbon nanomaterial room temperature superconducting technology?" "Yes." Zhang Xiaobei nodded in affirmation. The system indicated that upon completing the mission to eradicate the zombies, I would receive 3 nuclear fusion fragments and 5 superconducting fragments. These 2 technologies are likely meant to be used in tandem. In tandem, splendid. Absolutely splendid. Once these technologies are realized, our Dragon Nation will undoubtedly lead the world in energy and materials. He glanced at his wristwatch, precisely announcing the time. "There are still 21 hours and 17 minutes remaining. We have ample time. You must rest now. You haven't slept a wink all night." "Old Chen, I am not tired." Zhang Xiaobei interjected hastily. "My physique has been enhanced. Staying awake all night is no issue. We can discuss the plan right now." "No." Old Chen firmly rejected him. His tone, though stern, was imbued with concern. "From this moment onward, your life's safety falls under Dragon Nation's SSS-level protection. Be good, child. Sharpening the axe does not hinder the work of cutting wood. You must rest well. Only with ample spirit can you face the dangers of the apocalypse." He softened his tone, patting Zhang Xiaobei on the shoulder. "Rest assured, the subsequent matters will be handled by the state. Even if we ultimately fail, the nation will never blame you. Your transparency with the state is already a tremendous contribution." With that, Old Chen turned, his expression suddenly grave, and issued a stern order to Minister Qi and Lin Changjun. "Immediately establish a special plan. Codename, Golden Crow. Establishment date, November 22nd, 2025. Decryption date, never to be decrypted." From the moment Zhang Xiaobei returned, all individuals who have interacted with him are to be incorporated into the Golden Crow plan's control. Sign a lifetime confidentiality agreement. Personnel are prohibited from leaving the country for life. If necessary, life imprisonment. His personal file will be classified as a core secret of the SSS level. Any organization or individual that dares to probe without my explicit signature and approval will be swiftly apprehended by national security and prosecuted for treason. Lin Changjun. Present. Lin Changjun snapped to attention, his voice resonant. "From this moment forth, you shall be Zhang Xiaobei's exclusive liaison. You will be fully responsible for his living arrangements, information coordination, and security protection. Do not interfere excessively in his life, but ensure his safety. His every need must be prioritized. Yes. Now, take him to the safe house for proper rest. Arrange for a medical team on standby, prepare nutritious meals, and ensure he has a good night's sleep." Old Chen's gaze softened as he looked at Zhang Xiaobei. The child has been weary all night. He deserves to rest. "Yes. Comrade Zhang Xiaobei, please follow me." Lin Changjun gestured respectfully towards Zhang Xiaobei, his eyes filled with deference. As Zhang Xiaobei observed the scene before him, A wave of warmth surged within him. He had never anticipated that the state would regard him with such seriousness, even deploying the highest level of resources to protect him. Taking a deep breath, he bowed to Old Chun and Minister Chi, expressing his gratitude. Thank you, Old Chun. Thank you, Minister Chi. I will ensure that I rest well and strive to complete the mission. Excellent. Old Chun nodded with a smile, watching as Zhang Xiaobei followed Lin Changjun away. He turned to Minister Chi, speaking earnestly, immediately convene the think tank. Include strategic, scientific, and military teams. It is now 7:45 a.m. In 20 minutes. At the State Council, we will hold the first meeting for the Golden Crow Plan to devise the optimal support strategy. Within 21 hours, we must assist Xiao Bei in conquering that apocalyptic realm. Minister Qi stood at attention, saluting. Yes. I assure you we will fulfill the mission. Chapter 17. Storms are brewing. Lin Changjun led Zhang Xiaobei into the safe house on the top floor of the National Security Headquarters. Upon entering, Zhang Xiaobei discovered it was not the dim and cramped space he had imagined, but rather a spacious and brightly lit room. The floor-to-ceiling windows revealed the morning scenery of the city, and the interior boasted excellent soundproofing, with not a whisper of external clamor penetrating the tranquility. Comrade Zhang, Lin Changjun introduced, this is your exclusive safe house, monitored 24 hours a day, with a medical team on standby next door. He gestured towards the independent bathroom. All toiletries are fully prepared. You can use them with peace of mind. Breakfast is ready, tailored to your preferences. Zhang Xiaobei glanced at the high-end toiletries in the bathroom, and then at the steaming food on the dining table. A large bowl of millet porridge, a boiled egg, some pickled vegetables, hot milk, and a plate of sliced fruit. Without much further ado, he turned and entered the bathroom. Hot water cascaded down, washing away the remnants of the apocalyptic dust and fatigue. After showering, he emerged to find a set of comfortable cotton clothing waiting at the bedside. Once donned, it fit perfectly. Having eaten and drunk to his satisfaction, weariness washed over him completely. He lay down on the soft bed, cocooned in a fluffy comforter, enveloped in a profound sense of security. Previously, he had been constantly on guard against zombies and mutated beasts during the apocalypse, never daring to indulge in deep sleep. Now, within the safety of the climate-controlled safe house, he finally lowered his defenses, and as soon as his head hit the pillow, he drifted into a deep slumber. In stark contrast to the tranquility of the safe house, a tempest was brewing across the expanse of the Dragon Nation. At 7:47 a.m., on the runway of the Northern Military District Airport, dozens of previously undisclosed attack helicopters stood in neat rows. The roar of engines shattered the dawn's stillness. The Wuji, Tenmi, the yet-to-be-revealed Wuji, 20 improvements, and even several uniquely camouflaged and sci-fi shaped unknown models took to the skies in succession, soaring in various directions. Simultaneously, a highest-level no-fly order was issued over City B. All civil aviation flights were halted, and the airspace was comprehensively sealed. Only military aircraft executing the Golden Crow Plan were permitted to operate. As the news spread, while some travelers expressed discontent, the official explanation regarding a temporary national defense drill prevented widespread panic. At the Dragon National Academy of Sciences, within the Nuclear Physics Laboratory, renowned nuclear physicist academician Tong had just received a call bearing a special encrypted signal, prompting him to immediately set aside his experimental data. Grasping his notebook, he walked straight to the open space outside the research laboratory, awaiting in silence. Researchers passing by greeted him, to which he merely smiled and waved his hand. It's nothing. Just an important meeting. You may continue with your tasks. Amidst the biting cold wind, academician Tong's gaze was fixed intently on the sky. Nestled within his notebook was the draft of the controllable nuclear fusion theory he had studied for most of his life. He had a vague premonition that the call he was expecting today might witness a historic moment. At Longwy University of Science and Technology, in the A2 teaching building, academician Zhang of Materials Science was about to enter the building for his class, when his phone suddenly rang with an urgent and distinctive tone. This was the nation's highest-level emergency summons signal. Instantly, he straightened his hunched back and swiftly pressed the answer button. After listening to the command on the other end, he replied with resolute conviction, yes. Always prepared. After hanging up, he turned and exited the teaching building, stepping into the open space outside. A group of drowsy university students, still clutching their buns and soy milk, noticed academician Zhang standing in front of the building, their curiosity piqued. A familiar student approached and inquired, "Academician Zhang, why aren't you entering the building? It's quite cold outside. You should go in." Academician Zhang's expression was somewhat grave, yet he managed to muster a faint smile as he responded to the inquisitive student. "My class is cancelled today. I have something to attend to." Just as the students were pondering this, a thunderous sound of propellers filled the air. Several military helicopters whizzed past at low altitude. One helicopter, with an unfamiliar shape and sharp lines, began a slow descent. Two soldiers clad in black tactical gear leaped down from the 2-meter-high cabin. Upon landing, they quickly approached Academician Zhang and saluted sharply. "Academician Zhang, we are here to escort you." "What the? Is that a WZ-10 me?" "No, it's different. It should be the still under development WZ-20. The students gathered beneath the teaching building gasped in astonishment. Someone attempted to take a photo with their phone, only to find the camera malfunctioning, unable to focus. They could only watch helplessly as the soldiers assisted Academician Zhang onto the helicopter, which swiftly ascended, leaving behind a cacophony of sound. Such scenes unfolded simultaneously across various research institutions and top universities in Longhua. Elite talents in the fields of nuclear physics, materials science, aerospace, military strategy, and information engineering. Regardless of their locations, upon receiving the emergency signal, they immediately set aside their current tasks. At 8:03 a.m., only 20 hours and 59 minutes remained until the countdown to the apocalyptic mission. In the depths of the State Council's confidential meeting room, the atmosphere was intensely grave. Along the long conference table sat the backbone of Longhua. Senior military leaders adorned with general and lieutenant general insignia. Before each of them lay a document marked with the Golden Crow Project, SSS-level confidentiality. The door to the meeting room swung open, and Academician Tong, Academician Zhang, and dozens of top experts entered sequentially. As they settled into their seats, Elder Chen stood up, his gaze sweeping over the assembly. His voice steady as he began. "Before we commence the meeting, let us first sign the confidentiality agreement. Prior to signing, I have something to say. If anyone wishes to withdraw now, it is still possible. Once you sign to join, you may potentially live in obscurity for the rest of your lives. Even at the very end, you may never reappear in the public eye. The nation needs you. Now, please make your choice." The rustling of paper and pens echoed throughout the room. Not a single individual chose to withdraw. Once the staff collected and sealed all the confidentiality agreements, Elder Chen continued, "Comrades, we have gathered today for a task that concerns the future of Longhua, the Golden Crow Project." He pressed a button at the center of the conference table, and a massive screen illuminated the wall. It prominently displayed a photograph of Zhang Xiaobei, along with a video demonstration of the Edmund alloy mimetic armor, as well as the technical framework related to controllable nuclear fusion and carbon nanotube room temperature superconductors. "This is Comrade Zhang Xiaobei, a hero who traversed to the apocalypse and returned." Elder Chen's voice reverberated through the meeting room, and a unified expression of shock appeared on every face. He had bound himself to a system that could deliver the groundbreaking technologies of controllable nuclear fusion and room temperature superconductivity. Now, he required our support. "Within 20 hours, we must eradicate all the zombies in Apocalypse F City and obtain the last 3 pieces of technological fragments." The timeline of that world belongs to 2017. The apocalypse commenced in 2012. The images on the screen transitioned to a satellite simulation of F City, marked with a multitude of red dots representing the residential areas of F City's population in 2012. Time is of the essence. I require everyone to fulfill their roles and devise the optimal support plan. Elder Chun's gaze fell upon the military leaders. The military is responsible for providing tactical support and weapon adaptation plans. The research teams must analyze intelligence and offer technical guidance to the best of their abilities. The strategic team is tasked with overseeing the overall situation to ensure a flawless operation. I aim to devise the optimal solution in the shortest time possible. Chapter 18. The ultimate plan. Upon hearing Elder Chun's words, Academician Tong instantly stood up, disbelief evident in his tone. "Elder Chun, we in Longhua have not been entirely absent from the realm of controllable nuclear fusion. The Controllable Nuclear Fusion Experimental Device, Longhua No. 1, in H Province, currently operates stably for a maximum of only 403 seconds. We are still miles away from commercialization. However, when you speak of complete technology, do you mean? It is complete, mature technology that can be directly applied." Elder Chen interrupted him. not a short-term breakthrough in a laboratory. It is a comprehensive solution capable of providing stable power supply and large-scale application. Boom! As if a thunderclap had exploded in the conference room. The atmosphere instantly surged with excitement. Is this, for real? An elderly expert with white hair suddenly stood up, the legs of his chair scraping the floor with a piercing sound. Complete controllable nuclear fusion? Can we in Longwa truly master this technology? No longer dependent on the whims of the beautiful country, no longer reliant on fossil fuels. Our aircraft carriers, fighter jets, and urban power supply can all utilize clean and limitless energy. Longwa's technology will lead the world. Whispers of exhilaration erupted throughout the room. Some individuals' eyes glistened with tears, while others clenched their fists. Even several composed military leaders could not hide the fervor in their eyes. They understood better than anyone that once controllable nuclear fusion was realized, Longwa's defense capabilities would experience a qualitative leap. No nation would ever again be able to restrain it in the energy sector. Everyone, Elder Chen's voice suddenly rose, tinged with urgency. Calm down. There is a prerequisite to acquiring this technology. We must, within 20 hours, assist Comrade Zhang Xiaobei in eradicating all the zombies in Apocalypse F City. As those words fell, the previously exuberant conference room fell into a profound silence. The earlier excitement and joy were doused by a cold reality, replaced by gravity and urgency. Just then, a strategic analyst wearing black-rimmed glasses stood up, holding a printed report. He spoke with a hint of nervousness. Elder Chun, esteemed leaders, our team calculated the situation in F City as soon as we received the news. In 2012, F City had a permanent population of 3.8 million and a transient population of 400,000, totaling 4.2 million people. Based on the survival conditions of the apocalypse over 5 years, the depletion of resources, the spread of disease, and the degradation of the environment have resulted in a human survival rate that will not exceed 5, equating to approximately 210,000 individuals. He paused, his tone growing increasingly grave. Considering the ensuing chaos of the apocalypse, fighting, zombie attacks, and assaults from mutated beasts, the actual number of survivors will be even lower. A conservative estimate suggests it will not surpass 100,000. This figure weighed heavily upon everyone's hearts. In a city of 4.2 million, fewer than 100,000 will remain after 5 years. The brutality of the apocalypse far exceeds our imagination. In conjunction with Comrade Zhang Xiaobei's report, we conducted a more precise calculation. Another data expert added that in the supermarket survival point he encountered, there were 30 individuals, with the supermarket adhering to the 2012 standards of City F. With proportional calculations, there were 504 supermarkets of similar scale throughout the city. By this estimation, the number of survivors at supermarket points alone totals 15,120, adding in residential complexes, civil defense facilities, and other concealed gathering spots for survivors. The final estimate of survivors hovers around 50,000. He gestured towards the satellite image on the screen, where red dots densely populated the entire city. This implies that the number of zombies Comrade Zhang Xiaobei will face is approximately 4 million. This number struck like thunder, plunging the conference room into an oppressive silence. Shock and gravity were etched on every face. 20 hours to eliminate 4 million zombies. Even a well-equipped army would find this task daunting, much less an individual. Suddenly, the sound of keyboard clattering erupted as someone began tapping away. The cacophony of keystrokes and the rustle of paper filled the conference room as experts swiftly constructed models and devised strategies on their computers. Military leaders gathered around, spreading out the map of City F, marking potential attack routes and points for fire coverage with red ink. They even deliberated on which weapons could achieve city-wide cleansing in a short time, assuming a rate of exterminating 200,000 zombies per hour. 20 hours would precisely suffice for 4 million, yet time was of the essence. The zombie density in the core urban area was too high. At most, only 150,000 could be cleared per hour. The outer suburbs might reach 250,000, but efficiency had to be allocated by area. Comrade Zhang Xiaobei's battle armor could transform, perhaps allowing him to serve as a weapon of mass destruction, such as an energy cannon, capable of covering an entire block. But no, the energy consumption would be excessive, and it could inadvertently harm survivors. Precision strikes were essential. We could use the satellite images to identify zombie congregation areas, prioritizing the clearing of high-density zones to maximize target elimination in the least amount of time. In dire circumstances, we must prepare nuclear bombs capable of obliterating City F, direct bombardment. The atmosphere in the conference room shifted from earlier excitement to a chilling calm of rigorous calculations and strategizing. Each individual raced against time, against the colossal figure of 4 million. 20 minutes later, the strategic team responsible for coordination compiled all proposals. They rose and reported firmly, Elder Chun, esteemed leaders. After thorough simulations, we have devised 41 plans. Plan 1. Regional deployment of incendiary bombs for extermination. Based on the zombie heat map, we divided City F into 12 districts, sequentially deploying napalm to incinerate the zombies. This method would yield high efficiency while conserving Comrade Zhang Xiaobei's energy. Impossible. An expert immediately shook his head in dissent. In 2012, 45 of City F consisted of outdated residential complexes, densely built. Incendiary bombs could easily spark widespread fires. The smoke could endanger survivors hiding within the structures. Before he could finish, Elder Chin interjected. Next. Plan 2. Rapid development of a zombie-attracting vaccine based on existing viral databases. Employ drones to disperse it across various regions, luring zombies for concentrated extermination. Professor Wu, this plan is impractical, a scholar from the biology department interjected. The apocalypse virus has mutated significantly over 5 years, diverging greatly from the original strain. Moreover, research would require at least 72 hours. Debate continued, with proposal after proposal being presented and subsequently dismissed. Elder Chun, after listening to all the reports, glanced at his watch. It was already 9:35 a.m. Only 19 hours and 27 minutes remained until the mission's conclusion. Now, I will announce the final plan. We will employ high-frequency sound waves to attract and exterminate. According to Comrade Zhang Xiaobei's information, zombies are exceptionally sensitive to sound waves in the 120 Hz to 150 Hz range. We can provide 100 miniature high-frequency emitters for him to take into the apocalypse. They should be deployed across various regions of City F, with a primary emitter positioned in the central city square. Amplifying the sound wave intensity will guide the zombies from the core urban area towards the square. Surrounding emitters will synchronize to herd the zombies into 10 to 15 large clusters. We will first eliminate the smaller outer clusters before executing a comprehensive extermination of the core cluster in the city square. The sound waves can penetrate buildings, reaching indoor and subterranean zombies, achieving a clearance rate of 98. This is expected to take 16 hours, allowing for a 3-hour contingency for unforeseen circumstances. Murmurs of agreement filled the room as everyone nodded in approval. Observing their consensus, Elder Chun delivered a statement that left the entire assembly in shock. If the above plan has not achieved a 90 extermination rate by the remaining 5 hours, we will initiate the ultimate plan. Chapter 19. Nuclear bombs for indiscriminate extermination. Detonate nuclear bombs for indiscriminate extermination. Nuclear bombs? The room erupted in astonishment. Indeed, Elder Chin's gaze swept across every individual present with unwavering resolve. Calculating the area of City F, approximately 300 square kilometers. We shall deploy a tactical nuclear bomb equivalent to 500,000 tons of TNT. Comrade Zhang Xiaobei will take it into the apocalypse, releasing it 500 meters above the city center. The explosion's heat and shock waves will instantaneously annihilate all carbon-based life. Subsequently, Comrade Zhang Xiaobei will only need to clear the scattered remnants outside the explosion's core area. The estimated time for this task is merely 2 hours. This plan poses too great a risk. Academician Tong interjected urgently. It will harm all survivors who have not evacuated in time. I am aware. Elder Chin nodded in acknowledgement, yet his gaze remained composed. However, this is our fail-safe plan for extreme circumstances. Controlled nuclear fusion technology is of paramount importance to Long Nation. We cannot take that gamble. Naturally, we will endeavor to guide survivors away from the core area, minimizing risks. A heavy silence enveloped the room as everyone comprehended the gravity of this plan, yet they also recognized its necessity. After a moment of contemplation, Elder Chun stood up. Sweeping his gaze across the assembly, we will proceed with these 2 plans. It is now 9:45 a.m. Only 19 hours and 17 minutes remain until the countdown. The military team will be responsible for simulating tactical operations and preparing the nuclear bomb. Yes. Elder Qin's eyes fell upon the image of Zhang Xiaobei on the screen. His expression resolute. The future of Long Nation rests upon your shoulders. The morning sunlight had already crept across the windowsill, illuminating the soft bedding. Zhang Xiaobei drowsily opened his eyes and reached for his phone beside the pillow. The screen lit up, displaying exactly 10 o'clock a.m. It was only 10 o'clock. He yawned and turned over, wishing to continue his slumber. Despite the enhancement of his physique, weariness was absent, yet such a tranquil sleep was indeed rare. However, in the next moment, a translucent virtual screen of the system abruptly appeared before him. Mission countdown, 19 hours 02 minutes. Goodness. Zhang Xiaobei sprang up from his bed, instantly dispelling any traces of drowsiness. He hastily donned his clothes from the bedside and rushed to the door, pulling it open with force. Outside stood Lin Changjun, standing upright. Upon seeing him emerge, Lin Changjun immediately broke into a smile. Awake? Would you like to sleep a little longer? Old Qin specifically instructed me to let you rest. No need. Zhang Xiaobei waved his hand urgently, speaking in a hurried tone. 2 hours is sufficient. By the way, how did the discussions go? Has a plan been devised? Rest assured, everything is arranged, Lin Changjun replied, stepping aside to gesture for him to enter. Old Qin is already waiting for you in the office on the 5th floor. Why didn't you wake me up earlier? Zhang Xiaobei hurried towards the elevator. With time so tight, there was no room for sleep. Old Qin said you are the key. Being well rested is more important than anything. Lin Changjun followed closely behind as the elevator doors slowly closed. At the entrance of the office on the 5th floor, Minister Qi stood straight, signaling Zhang Xiaobei to enter as he approached. Inside the office, Old Qin sat in Minister Qi's chair, dialing a number. It must arrive within 5 minutes. After hanging up, he looked up at Zhang Xiaobei, a warm smile gracing his face. Xiaobei, have you awakened? You seem quite spirited. Do you have a solution? Of course. Old Qin nodded and slid 2 plans across the table towards him. We have formulated 2 plans. The primary option is high-frequency sound wave aggregation and extermination. We have prepared 100 mini-launchers for you. They can efficiently gather and eliminate the zombies. If progress falls behind, we will activate the ultimate plan, indiscriminate nuclear annihilation. He paused, pointing to the nuclear parameters on the plan, a yield of 500,000 tons of TNT, sufficient to cover the entire F-city. Zhang Xiaobei stared wide-eyed at the word nuclear on the plan, instinctively swallowing hard. You mean a nuclear weapon is directly given to me? Isn't that a bit excessive? This is no trivial matter. There is nothing excessive about it, Old Qin replied, his gaze resolute. We believe you can exercise sound judgment and complete the mission. Controlled nuclear fusion is of paramount importance. This is the utmost support we can provide you. He stood, placing a reassuring hand on Zhang Xiaobei's shoulder. Let us go see what we have prepared for you. It will surely astonish you. The group took a private elevator straight to the warehouse. The heavy alloy doors slowly opened, a cool breeze wafting out. The warehouse was brightly lit, stacked neatly with various supplies, stretching beyond sight. These are your provisions. Lin Changjun indicated the pile on the left. Tons of high-grade gasoline, energy bars without any manufacturer information, prepackaged drinking water, along with canned meats, beef jerky, dehydrated vegetables, and instant noodles. Over there are special cigarettes and alcohol. Zhang Xiaobei followed his gesture, seeing food stacked like small mountains. There were even his favorite spicy snacks, clearly a testament to thorough preparation. On the other side, firearms of varying lengths and boxes of ammunition were neatly arranged, from handguns to sniper rifles, including several grenades and a rocket launcher. Most conspicuously, a black all-terrain vehicle, devoid of any branding, stood out prominently. Its robust build and wide tires were unmistakably suited for the treacherous landscapes of a post-apocalyptic world. This is still not all. Old Qin chuckled, gesturing the others to proceed deeper into the warehouse. As they navigated through the supplies, a massive object suddenly came into view. It gleamed with a chilling radiance, nearly the size of the all-terrain vehicle. It was entirely black, lacking any markings. This is the nuclear weapon? Zhang Xiaobei's eyes widened, instinctively reaching out to touch it, yet hesitating. After all, who casually touches a nuclear weapon? Indeed. Old Qin produced a black device resembling a smartphone from his pocket and handed it to Zhang Xiaobei. This is the detonator. Hold the red button for 3 seconds to activate it. He meticulously explained the method of carrying the nuclear weapon, the deployment process, and safety precautions. Zhang Xiaobei listened intently, holding the detonator, his heart racing with excitement. He yearned to plunge into the apocalypse and set off a test. A thought suddenly crossed his mind. What if he saved this device to bring warmth to his ancestors, who might be struggling in the cold of winter? Chapter 20. Back to the apocalypse. Well, these are all the supplies we have prepared for you. Old Shun surveyed the warehouse. After rigorous calculations, everything totals exactly 800 cubic meters. Your storage space can accommodate it all. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Xiaobei took a deep breath, extended his hand towards the supplies, and with a thought commanded, "Collect." In the next moment, an astonishing scene unfolded. The gasoline, food, firearms, and even the nuclear weapon transformed into streams of light, vanishing without a trace. Only the empty warehouse floor remained. Old Chun, Minister Qi, and Lin Changjun exchanged glances, each reflecting shock. Although they were aware of his storage capability, witnessing such a vast array of supplies disappear instantaneously was still awe-inspiring. After leaving the warehouse, Old Chun led Zhang Xiaobei into a private lounge. Upon opening the door, a rich aroma of spicy beef broth enveloped them. In the center of the room, a copper pot bubbled away, with red oil rolling over, revealing tender beef and duck blood that heightened their appetite. "They said you love hot pot," Old Chun smiled, pulling out a chair for him and handing him chopsticks. "This is from that old hot pot restaurant you frequent. We brought the entire kitchen here. The chefs are the same, ensuring the taste is identical to what you usually enjoy." Zhang Xiaobei gazed at the bubbling broth and the array of his favorite ingredients, his eyes suddenly moistening. An orphan, he had never been cherished in such a manner to ensure he had a delightful meal. They had brought an entire kitchen. Old Chun, he opened his mouth, wanting to express something, but found his throat tight, unable to utter a word. "Eat, don't just stare." Old Chun personally placed a piece of tripe onto Zhang Xiaobei's chopsticks. "Cook it for about 15 seconds. Zhang Xiaobei lifted the chopsticks, placing the cooked tripe into his mouth. The spicy, savory flavor exploded on his palate, identical to his memories. In fact, due to the freshness of the ingredients, it was even more delicious. Yet, as he continued to eat, tears began to fall uncontrollably. He savored every bite slowly, not out of reluctance, but to etch this warmth into his heart. Old Chun remained mostly silent, occasionally adding ingredients for him, quietly keeping him company. After the meal, the group proceeded to the deepest, most confidential conference room underground. Within the room were only Old Chun, Minister Qi, and Lin Changjun. Zhang Xiaobei stood in the center, gazing at the three elders who had worked tirelessly for him. Straightening his posture, he mimicked a military salute from the television, albeit imperfectly. "Old Chun, Minister Qi, Director Lin. Thank you all. Rest assured, I will complete the mission. Controllable nuclear fusion technology, I will definitely bring it back to the Dragon Kingdom." Elder Chun gazed at him, his eyes filled with pride, and nodded. "We trust you. Remember, safety comes first. If all else fails, initiate the ultimate plan. Do not bear any psychological burden." "Indeed." Zhang Xiaobei nodded earnestly, took a deep breath, and closed his eyes. "System, continue executing the mission." In the next moment, Zhang Xiaobei's figure vanished from the spot, leaving behind an empty room and three people exchanging glances. Minister Qi looked at the deserted floor and softly said, "I hope he returns safely." "He will. He is the hope of the Dragon Kingdom and will undoubtedly return safely." The midday sun pierced through the gloom of the apocalypse, illuminating the ruins of City F brilliantly. Zhang Xiaobei returned to the very place where he had previously slaughtered wild boars and rats. However, after just one night, all the rat carcasses had vanished. He had no time to ponder these sights. With a thought, the Edelman alloy battle armor enveloped his body in an instant. A pair of streamlined energy wings unfurled behind him. In truth, he could fly without them, but Zhang Xiaobei felt that resembling a birdman might appear more impressive. Time to get to work. He glanced at the watch on his wrist and muttered. Soon, he soared into the sky, heading towards the location pre-marked by the think tank. Upon reaching the designated coordinates, Zhang Xiaobei retrieved the launcher directly from the spatial realm. He then descended to a higher rooftop and placed it down. Pressing the switch on the launcher, it activated with a click. An invisible energy sphere swiftly expanded. An inaudible high-frequency sound wave instantaneously enveloped a radius of 500 meters. One down, he accelerated toward the next coordinate, his movements decisive and efficient. The process of deploying the launcher was simpler than anticipated. No adjustments were needed. Just press the switch and drop it on the ground. Half an hour later, on the rooftop of a hotel in the northwest outskirts of City F, 5 survivors huddled behind the suite door, their ears pressed against the door panel. The previous metallic scratching at the door had nearly frightened their souls away. But now, it was eerily silent outside, not even a whisper of a zombie's growl. What happened to the noise? A young man in a tattered hoodie trembled, tightly gripping a rusty steel pipe. Don't speak, just wait a little longer. The bald man frowned. He was the temporary leader of the group. Having recently escaped from a horde of zombies, his instincts for danger were particularly sharp. After waiting another 10 minutes, there was still no sound from outside. The bald man gritted his teeth and slowly pulled open a crack in the door. Outside was empty, the corridor littered with shards of glass and bloodstains. The dozen or so zombies that had surrounded the door had completely vanished. Where did the zombies go? The young man peeked his head out. Confusion etched on his face. Could they have left? No, look downstairs. Another survivor pointed out the window, and the bald man leaned in to take a look. In the distance, on the street, a dense mass of zombies was moving in the same direction. They seemed to be heading toward the city center. Such a scene was playing out in various corners of City F, survivors hiding in office building restrooms, families tucked away in underground garages, and small groups guarding convenience stores all found the zombies that had besieged them suddenly retreating, surging toward the city center. No one knew why. At exactly 11 a.m., the last main launcher was placed in the center of City F's municipal square. Standing beneath the flagpole, he watched as the launcher activated. Feeling a sense of relief. Done. Now all that remains is to wait for them to gather. He casually pulled out a bottle of mineral water from his space, took a glance, and tossed it back. Then he switched to a can of cola. This one understands me. Glug glug burp. Refreshing. He pulled out a piece of dried beef, not caring about the dirt on the ground, and sat down to gnaw on it. While munching, he recalled the survivor he had encountered at the supermarket. Why not go take a look? Without further ado, he quickly stowed away the half-eaten beef jerky and retracted his energy wings, strolling leisurely toward the supermarket. On the way, he occasionally encountered a few scattered zombies that hadn't been attracted by the sound waves, all of which he easily dealt with. Before reaching the supermarket, he heard a series of loud banging noises, mixed with arrogant shouts. Open the door. Stop hiding inside like a coward. We saw you from the rooftop of the building next door. Scarface was killed by someone. This supermarket will be my territory from now on, Lu Chong. If you don't open the door soon, once I get in, I'll make you all my food. Chapter 21. Do you want it? Yes. Hearing the voices, Zhang Xiaobei frowned and quickened his pace. He saw the supermarket's steel door already dented, surrounded by over 20 robust men armed with hammers, pry bars, and even a few rusty machetes. Leading them was a burly man adorned with a necklace made of unknown animal teeth. Inside the supermarket, a scruffy man was rallying the people within. Don't be afraid. This steel door was reinforced by Scarface before. They can't break it. As long as we hold our ground here, once they leave, we will be safe. However, Sister Chen's face was filled with worry as she tightly held her child. She didn't know where that big shot had gone last night. If he were here, he could surely help us. As soon as she spoke, the atmosphere inside the supermarket plummeted. Ever since Zhang Xiaobei had killed Scarface, saved them, and shared food, he had suddenly disappeared, and no one knew where he had gone. The big shot will be fine. The scruffy man forced a smile. He is so capable. He must be off saving more people elsewhere. We must live well until he returns, and then we can repay him. If it weren't for him, maybe one of us would have already turned into jerky. Uncle, should we just fight them? An 18 or 19-year-old young man clutched a fruit knife, his eyes filled with defiance. We can't just sit here and wait to die. The scruffy man shook his head, his eyes filled with helplessness. No, listen to me. We haven't eaten in days. Our bodies are already weak. We only replenished a little last night, and it's still not enough. Those people, eating meat every day, their stamina is far superior to ours. We can't compete. Old Zhang, who lay in the corner, coughed a couple of times, his voice hoarse. Don't worry, retribution will come. What they've done will surely attract divine punishment. But no one responded. In 5 years of the apocalypse, everyone had seen through it. Those who commit heinous acts, kill mercilessly, even resorting to cannibalism, often live the most comfortably, while honest and upright people, like them, can only struggle in fear, dying one after another. Just then, a mocking voice came from outside the supermarket. Hey, what are you doing? Don't you see there's a door to this supermarket? Who taught you to bang on the door with hammers and pry bars? Did your parents never teach you manners? Lu Chang's group froze for a moment, then turned in unison to look. They saw a young man in ordinary casual wear standing not far away, leisurely chewing on a piece of jerky. His demeanor was so relaxed. It was as if he were on the streets during peacetime. The newcomer was none other than Zhang Xiaobei. Who the hell are you? Don't throw around your parents' names. Zhang Xiaobei, however, grinned and replied cheekily, Hey, you're right. I really don't have any. Lu Chang squinted, sizing Zhang Xiaobei up and down. Seeing him with delicate skin and no wounds on his body, didn't he look like someone struggling in the apocalypse? His tone softened slightly. Why do you care? Go away, get lost, or I will deal with you too. A tall, thin man beside him rubbed his hands together, his eyes filled with greed. Brother, look at this kid, so tender and delicate. He must be a rich kid from some gathering point. If we capture him, we might extract the location of his gathering point. Then food and women will be ours, and he can serve as our reserve food. Lu Chang's eyes brightened. He had sensed that Zhang Xiaobei was no ordinary person. In a post-apocalyptic world, someone who could wear such clean clothes and dared to walk alone on the streets must have powerful backing. He beckoned to Zhang Xiaobei. Hey, kid, come here. I have something to say to you. Zhang Xiaobei ignored him and took out a box of special supply Panda cigarettes, opening it amidst the astonished gazes of the crowd. He then retrieved a lighter. With a crisp sound, the tobacco ignited with a crackle. As he exhaled the first puff, a faint blue smoke spiraled upward, carrying the rich aroma unique to premium cigarettes, spreading through the air. At this moment, Lu Chang and his group were utterly mesmerized. Smoke. It's smoke. A man with a pockmarked face instinctively sniffed, his eyes instantly gleaming with red light. In 5 years of the apocalypse, let alone cigarettes, these seasoned smokers had tried everything, from hard cardboard to leaves, but ultimately, they had repressed their cravings. Now, with just a glimpse from Zhang Xiaobei, they felt an unbearable itch in their hearts. Damn, this flavor. And look at that packaging. It must be special supply cigarettes. I saw them in the army before. They're even more fragrant than Huazi. Another man stared intently at the cigarettes in Zhang Xiaobei's hand, saliva almost dripping from his mouth. A gust of wind blew, carrying the smoke further away. Lu Chang's group completely forgot about breaking the door, each of them stretching their necks, greedily inhaling the secondhand smoke in the air. Some even unconsciously shed tears. That was the physiological reaction triggered by their cravings. Lu Chang's eyes gleamed with excitement as he fixated on the cigarette box in Zhang Xiaobei's hand. At that moment, he had only one thought in mind. This was definitely a big catch. Anyone who could smoke special supply cigarettes in the apocalypse must have a steady supply of resources behind them. If he could capture him, he would never have to worry about food again. Zhang Xiaobei noticed the aggressive glint in their eyes, but was not angered. He casually spoke. Do you want it? Lu Chang's eyes instantly lit up. Yes. Zhang Xiaobei chuckled. If you want it, you have to help me with something. Lu Chang's face immediately fell. 5 years. A full 5 years. No one had ever spoken to him in such a manner. He then forced a smile, his tone dripping with malice. What is it? You tell me first. Zhang Xiaobei got straight to the point. You help me notify all the residents nearby that they shouldn't run around. I'm going to start a citywide cleansing. After tonight, there won't be any zombies left in this city. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. All survivors gather in front of the city government. Lu Chang's expression turned strange, and his underlings looked pale. It wasn't out of fear, but rather they were suppressing laughter. Uffed. Ha. No. Kid, are you out of your mind? You? Cleansing the city? Eliminating all zombies? Ha. Zhang Xiaobei ignored him, merely pulling out another pack of special supply cigarettes, weighing it in his hand. So what is it going to be? Are we doing this? If you do, this pack of cigarettes will be yours. Cigarettes? Work for it. Damn, I'll kill you, and the cigarettes will still be mine. Brothers, charge. As Lu Chang's group moved in with steel pipes and crowbars, Zhang Xiaobei simply shook his head in resignation. It seems being in the apocalypse for too long has made you all incapable of understanding human language. In the next moment, an unforgettable scene for the 20 or more people present unfolded. Zhang Xiaobei stood his ground, completely unfazed by the approaching crowd. He reached behind his back, and with a click, a dark RPG rocket launcher appeared in his hands. Aiming the launcher directly at Lu Chang and his group, he weighed it thoughtfully, his tone laced with regret. No, this would be a waste to use on you guys. He tapped the barrel, producing a dull thud. One rocket could obliterate half a building. You 20 or so would only fill the gaps between my teeth. Such a waste. As soon as he finished speaking, the rocket launcher vanished. Lu Chang's group, still stunned, didn't have time to react before Zhang Xiaobei pulled out a Barrett sniper rifle, complete with a scope that reflected the sunlight, blinding Lu Chang and his men. No, this is too inefficient. He frowned, shaking his head, his finger twirling around the trigger guard. This gun requires reloading after every shot. With so many of you, I have to aim one by one. Before he finished, the sniper rifle disappeared again. In the next second, he extended his left hand, revealing a silver Desert Eagle handgun in his palm. This also won't do. The recoil makes my hand numb. He shook his hand, as if recalling the aching sensation from his last shot. Last time, when I shot a guy about your height and build in the head, the recoil nearly dislocated my wrist. Killing you guys? Not worth it. Then the handgun vanished as well. This time, Zhang Xiaobei simply shook his arms, and an automatic rifle laden with tactical accessories appeared. The bullet chain dangled beside his legs, producing a soft clinking sound. This still won't work. I can't aim properly. What if I don't kill you? What if I hit your left leg? Your right leg? Or the third leg in the middle? He said, aiming the gun at Lu Chang's left leg, then moving to the right leg. Finally, his gaze lingered ambiguously between Lu Chang's hips, a smirk playing on his lips. Cold sweat dripped down Lu Chang's face. His legs felt like lead, trembling uncontrollably, causing the blade in his hand to clatter to the ground. Big boss, please, don't fire accidentally. His voice trembled, not daring to lift his head. We just came to join the fun. We'll leave right away. Zhang Xiaobei ignored his pleas for mercy, flipping his wrist as the automatic rifle disappeared. In its place were 2 hand grenades, the safety pins still attached. This is just right. No brain damage. He held the grenades, his fingers already hooking the safety pins. Thud. Lu Chang was the first to kneel, his knees hitting the concrete with a muffled thud. Though it hurt and made him grimace, he didn't dare utter a sound. Seeing their leader kneel, the underlings followed suit, kneeling in a flurry. Some even lay flat on the ground, not daring to lift their heads. Big boss, I was wrong. I don't want the cigarettes anymore. Lu Chang's voice cracked, filled with tears. I will never dare to appear before you again. Just treat me like a fart and let me go. Zhang Xiaobei toyed with the grenades, his gaze sweeping over the round bellies of the group, and he scoffed. So, about what I just mentioned, can you notify everyone? Look at you all, full of fat. How can you still be this plump in the apocalypse without exercising? He paused, deliberately elongating his tone, as a morally conscious pervert. From now on, I will help you lose weight. He tossed the grenades in his palm, each drop making Lu Chang's heart tighten. Lu Chang's eyes widened. His face flushed, but he dared not retort. Take it easy, my friend. I have no desire to meet my demise just yet. Don't say I'm not giving you a chance. With a sweeping gesture, Zhang Xiaobei summoned a sleek silver electronic scale that materialized in the empty space before him. He himself was puzzled as to how this device had ended up among the supplies, but he dismissed the thought. Come, step on the scale and let us see your weight. Lu Chang, his legs trembling, cautiously approached. As soon as he stepped onto the scale, the numbers began to fluctuate wildly, bouncing between 178 and 182 pounds due to his uncontrollable shaking. Growing impatient, Zhang Xiaobei delivered a swift kick to his abdomen, infused with the strength from his enhanced physique. With a resounding thud, Lu Chang, standing at 175 centimeters and weighing 90 kilograms, was sent careening backward, crashing against a nearby abandoned car with a dull thump. What is the matter with you? Zhang Xiaobei frowned as he strode over. Damn it, stand still. It's just a weight check. Are you shaking for your mother? Before the last word escaped his lips, he vanished in a blur, reappearing beside Lu Chang in an instant, landing another kick to his side. Lu Chang was propelled 7 or 8 meters away, colliding with a crumbling wall and sliding down to the ground, clutching his abdomen and groaning in pain, his face pale. Can you stand still? Zhang Xiaobei's voice suddenly broke as he roared. I can. Lu Chang gritted his teeth, propping himself against the broken wall as he slowly stood up. The excruciating pain in his abdomen made him break into a cold sweat, yet the will to survive compelled him to remain upright. He understood that the formidable figure before him could extinguish his life with the same ease as crushing an ant. Go, get back on the scale. Lu Chang, trembling with fear, carefully climbed onto the scale, holding his abdomen. He bit down hard, controlling his body and even lightening his breath. The numbers on the screen gradually stabilized. settling at 179. 5 pounds. Oh, my brother. Zhang Xiaobei leaned in for a closer look, patting his shoulder with such force that Lu Chang stumbled. You are over the weight limit. He leaned in closer, whispering conspiratorially, I'm going to punish you. From this moment forward, you must exercise diligently. Sweat more. Move more. I want you to inform the nearby residents. Do you understand? Yes. Yes, I understand. Lu Chang nodded vigorously. However, the next words from Zhang Xiaobei froze him in place. Remember, informing them is merely a method. The ultimate goal is my benevolence. Weight loss is the objective. A sly smile crept across his lips as his gaze swept over Lu Chang's bulging belly. If you return later and Haven T lost 20 pounds, I will carve 40 pounds from your body. What do you think? Isn't my weight loss plan splendid? Lu Chang's eyes nearly bulged from their sockets. His mouth agape, but upon seeing the grenade reappear in Zhang Xiaobei's hand, he swallowed his words. This. Desperation welled up, tears nearly spilling from his eyes. 20 pounds? How could I possibly lose that in 3 hours? Move it, you fool. Zhang Xiaobei suddenly delivered a kick to his backside, causing Lu Chang to stumble nearly to the ground. You have 3 hours. Otherwise, when I find you, you will face dire consequences. Chapter 23. Something's off in this apocalypse. Lu Chang dared not delay any longer. He scrambled to his feet and called to his subordinates. Let us go. Quickly. To the Xingsheng community. He led the way, sprinting towards the nearby dilapidated neighborhood, the closest gathering point he knew. Just days ago, he had pilfered 2 bags of compressed biscuits from there, and he was familiar with the residents. The wall of Xingsheng community was half collapsed, with discarded sofas and cabinets piled at the entrance. Shadows flickered behind several windows. As Lu Chang reached the gate, he shouted, Wang Laosan, come out. I have urgent news for you. A window on the 2nd floor creaked open, revealing a wrinkled man who, upon recognizing Lu Chang, darkened visibly. You damn scoundrel, Lu Chang. Here to steal again? I'm not here to steal. Lu Chang exclaimed, exasperated, glancing around nervously. A big shot sent me. You're to gather at the city government entrance tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Don't wander off. Wang Laosan paused, stepping outside, followed by several residents wielding iron rods, all of whom had been victims of Lu Chang's earlier thefts, their eyes filled with wariness. What big shot? What trickery are you up to now? I'm not fooling around. Lu Chang, drenched in sweat, recounted how Zhang Xiaobei had threatened him into a weight loss challenge. He gave me 3 hours. And if I don't lose 20 pounds, he'll take 40 pounds of flesh from me. Is that humane? A man in a tattered cotton coat scoffed. 3 hours? Hell, what is he going to do? Turn the entire city upside down looking for you? Exactly. Another chimed in. Just one man. We can hide in the community. Can he really break in? But as soon as the words left his mouth, Lu Chang shuddered. He couldn't forget Zhang Xiaobei's uncanny ability to appear out of nowhere, nor the terrifying RPG rocket launcher, or the grenades spinning in his palm. No. We can't hide. He trembled. That guy is too formidable. If he comes looking for us, none of us will escape. Silence enveloped the community, every face reflecting unease. All right, let us focus on weight loss. Lu Chang sighed, rubbing his belly. If that guy catches me, I won't stand a chance. Just then, a thin subordinate who had followed Lu Chang leaned in and whispered, Boss, I've heard of a method. The body can retain several pounds of waste. With your large belly, you might have a good 10 pounds in there. Lu Chang's eyes lit up, right? There's bound to be a lot in here. Wang Laosan, frowning, pointed towards the abandoned garage in the community. There are water pipes taken from the fire hydrant in there, with some water left. What unfolded next was a sight that residents would never forget. In the garage, Lu Chang was on his knees, while the thin subordinate squatted behind him with the water pipe. The sound of rushing water filled the air. Before long, the scene was punctuated by Lu Chang's agonized yet somewhat relieved groans. Meanwhile, inside the 2nd floor window, the residents watched as Zhang Xiaobei, akin to a divine savior, returned once more to rescue them. They rushed downstairs, opening the door, calling out, Big shot. You're back. Shut up. Zhang Xiaobei's cold reprimand silenced them instantly. He surveyed the crowd, noting mothers with children, elderly leaning on sticks, and several young individuals with timid expressions. Have you all grown complacent after filling your bellies? Where was this spirit when you were blocked at the door, or when locks were being pried open? The crowd, chastised, hung their heads. Sister Chun, cradling her child, shrank back and murmured, We were just happy to see you back. Being happy doesn't mean you should shout mindlessly. Zhang Xiaobei softened his tone slightly, gesturing towards the supermarket. Everyone back inside, lock the doors tightly. It's going to get chaotic outside tonight. He paused, scanning the faces before him. I have deployed devices in the city that will lure the zombies to a designated location for eradication. With a stroke of luck, when you awaken tomorrow morning, there may be no zombies left in City F. Upon hearing this, the eyes of everyone sparkled with hope. However, in the next moment, Zhang Xiaobei ominously interjected. If luck does not favor us, it will not be painful. So, cherish the last moments. It's merely a matter of a nuclear bomb. A silence enveloped the crowd, yet some still retained their glimmer of hope. Even the faintest glimmer was a promise of hope never before witnessed in the 5 years of the apocalypse. At that moment, a figure emerged from the crowd. It was the man with stubble. Upon hearing Zhang Xiaobei mention the nuclear bomb, he could no longer remain seated. He stepped forward and immediately saluted Zhang Xiaobei with a precise military gesture, gaunt yet resolute. I am Zhou Weiguo, commander of the 72nd Group Army of the Eastern Military District of the Dragon Kingdom. Reporting to the commander. Commander? Zhang Xiaobei was taken aback for a moment, then waved his hand dismissively. Don't call me that. I am no commander. He scrutinized Zhou Weiguo. I wouldn't have guessed you were a veteran. Zhou Weiguo lowered his hand, a bittersweet smile crossing his face. By misfortune, I happened to be on leave visiting family in City F. Just 2 days after returning home, the apocalypse began. His gaze dimmed. For these 5 years, I have clung to the identity of a soldier, yet I have had no opportunity to return to duty. You haven't contacted your unit? Zhang Xiaobei asked curiously. Ordinarily, communication would not cease entirely at the onset of the apocalypse. The military would have reasons to organize a recall or reach out to disperse soldiers. Zhou Weiguo's expression darkened at this question. His voice heavy. I did attempt to contact them. The military even dispatched a helicopter to retrieve me. He paused, as if recalling a painful memory. That day, I waited on the rooftop of my apartment complex. The helicopter landed in the vacant lot across the street. As the door opened, a comrade I recognized jumped down. But something was amiss. Without any warning, his eyes glazed over, his skin turned gray, just like those zombies. Before I could react, he lunged and bit the pilot's neck. Zhou Weiguo's voice trembled further. The pilot didn't last a few seconds. Just 2 minutes. Moments later, he was moving again. Inside the cabin, he was thrashing and biting. The helicopter lost control and crashed into the adjacent building, exploding. Zhang Xiaobei furrowed his brow even deeper. This was unlike any zombie he had encountered. Ordinary zombies transformed only after being bitten or scratched. Zhou Weiguo's comrade had mutated suddenly. Without any incubation period? What happened next? He pressed. Did you not attempt to contact your unit again? Or did the authorities organize any rescue efforts? Zhou Weiguo shook his head, his tone filled with resignation. After the crash, when I tried to reach my unit, all I received was static. There was no word from the authorities. In the first month of the apocalypse, we could still receive a few channels on television, promising evacuation efforts. But before we could find a safe point, all signals were lost. After that, I never saw another uniformed individual. A soft sigh escaped someone in the crowd, clearly indicating that they had long since lost hope in official rescue efforts. Zhang Xiaobei remained silent, yet his mind was racing. Something felt off. Chapter 24. The hunt begins. The peculiarities in Zhou Weiguo's account troubled Zhang Xiaobei increasingly. However, he quickly shook his head. Now was not the time for such distractions. The countdown for the mission was still ticking. First, he must eradicate the zombies and acquire the complete technology for controllable nuclear fusion. It was of utmost importance. Just as he turned to leave, his peripheral vision caught sight of several plastic bags piled in the corner. Inside were moldy, blackened instant noodles, with tiny insects crawling at the open ends. Half a bag of yellowed rice lay beneath a few hard, stale rice balls that could be lethal if thrown. Beside it, a dented iron basin contained murky water. Zhang Xiaobei's heart tightened, as if gripped by an unseen force. Though his heart was as hard as iron, the scene before him still made him furrow his brow. After a brief moment of silence, he suddenly waved his hand toward the empty ground. With a soft rustle of air, 2 bundles of bottled water wrapped in clear film landed gently on the ground. The bottles bore no labels, merely reflecting the purity of the water under the sunlight. Following that, 2 neatly packed boxes of instant noodles were stacked together, the cardboard bearing no brand markings. A torn opening revealed golden noodle cakes and individually wrapped seasoning packets. 30 green tin cans were lined up, marked simply with labels indicating meat and fruit. Finally, after a moment's hesitation, Zhang Xiaobei placed 6 gleaming glass bottles, devoid of labels, on the ground. The caps bore a small pentagram, indicating the special supply of liquor. Alongside them were 2 packs of cigarettes adorned with panda designs and 2 silver lighters, precisely the special supply cigarettes that had previously made Lu Chang's group envious. The crowd in the supermarket was left in stunned silence. Chen Dezhao tightened her grip around her child, whose wide, round eyes reached out for the water bottles. Zhou Weiguo was not oblivious. He had seen this special supply liquor in the military before the apocalypse. Only officers of brigade level and above were entitled to it. This certainty reinforced his belief in Zhang Xiaobei's command. These are for you all. Zhang Xiaobei observed the astonished expressions of the crowd, his voice softening slightly. Eat freely. Consume it all. Those who drink, drink. Those who smoke, smoke. No need to hold back. He paused, his gaze sweeping over every pale face. Regardless of whether we see the sun tomorrow, at least today, let us fill our bellies. The crowd fell silent for a few seconds, then someone covered their mouth. Tears streamed down Chen Dazhao's cheeks, dripping onto her child's clothing. The young man who had earlier sought to confront Lu Chang reached for a can of fruit, his fingers trembling. He hadn't eaten fruit in nearly 3 years. Zhou Weiguo picked up a pack of cigarettes, his eyes reddening as well. He raised his hand in salute, his voice choked with emotion. Thank you, Commander. Zhang Xiaobei did not correct him, merely shook his head gently. He gazed at the elderly, the weak, the women and children, feeling a twinge of compassion. They were all citizens of the Dragon Kingdom, sharing the same bloodline. If there were any other way, who would wish to subject them to the peril of a nuclear bomb? Yet controllable nuclear fusion was far too crucial for the Dragon Kingdom on Blue Star. So critical that he could not gamble, could not forsake. I'm sorry, he silently murmured to himself, then stepped forward to kneel before Chen Dezhao. The child gazed up at him with curious eyes, radiating a rare innocence in this apocalyptic world. Zhang Xiaobei extended his hand and gently patted the child's head, the warmth of his palm eliciting a giggle. This is for you. With a flick of his left hand, a bottle of milk appeared, its packaging free of any additives. He offered the milk to Chen Dezhao. Let your child drink this. Chen Dezhao hurriedly accepted it, repeatedly expressing her gratitude. Uncle. The child clutched the bottle, timidly asking, what is your name? Zhang Xiaobei paused for a moment, then smiled. I am Zhang Xiaobei. Rising to his feet, he cast a final glance around the supermarket. Eat well, everyone. Make sure you're full. With that, he turned and walked away, his final words echoing, I will do my utmost to eliminate all the zombies. His voice faded beyond the steel doors of the supermarket. Zhang Xiaobei hovered in midair, beginning to survey the effectiveness of the zombie lure. He observed the zombies emerging from every corner of the city, staggering and senselessly drawn toward the source of the sound. As he looked at the zombies already congregating around the sound source, it became evident they could not detect the scent of the living. They were screaming frantically. It seemed the plan was working splendidly. As he spoke, he set off towards the next collection point once more. After completing a round, Zhang Xiaobei felt reassured. He returned to the vicinity of the supermarket, and indeed, Lu Chang was shivering in place, awaiting his arrival. Upon seeing Zhang Xiaobei descend from the sky with shimmering wings, Lu Chang was overcome with emotion. Why could this devil appear like an angel? Boss, I've notified everyone. I've even lost weight. Truly. Zhang Xiaobei landed on the ground and observed Lu Chang's pale complexion. He lazily took out the weighing scale again. Lu Chang obediently stepped onto it. The result showed 162. He was still 2.5 pounds away from the target of 20 pounds. A smile crept onto Zhang Xiaobei's lips. Do you remember what I said? Then, with a flick of his wrist, a knife astonishingly materialized before Lu Chang. Your hand transformed into a knife? No. Boss, it's my clothes. My clothes are too thick. Yes, I'll take them off right now. As the evening darkened and the sun dipped below the horizon, Lu Chang, despite the cold, began to strip. He started with his tattered cotton jacket. Removing everything from the waist up, the scale still showed he was half a pound short. He hurriedly removed his pants, feeling utterly exhausted. The cold wind sent shivers racing through him. Yet his will to survive urged him on. Finally, the scale read 159.5. Boss, I did it. Look, you must be reasonable. Trembling in the cold, Lu Chang's little brother dared not look on. But Zhang Xiaobei's next words sent chills down his spine. Look at you. You're too thin. The wind blows, and you shiver. That's not good. How about you gain it back for me? Lu Chang, already a mess of tears and mucus, fell to his knees bare. Boss, I was truly wrong. I had no idea they were under your protection. Even if you gave me 800 guts, I wouldn't dare come here. Please spare me. I beg you. A faint smile appeared on Zhang Xiaobei's face. I'm just joking with you. I can see how nervous you are. Put your clothes back on. Thank you, boss. Lu Chang hastily picked up his clothes from the ground, donning them without regard for his image. Ignoring the others, Zhang Xiaobei glanced at the time. The task countdown read 9 hours. It has begun. The hunting hour. Chapter 25. The divine being descends as night fell. The sky over City F was stained a dark red by the blood-soaked sunset. Zhang Xiaobei hovered above the municipal square, where the 2 pairs of luminous wings behind his adamantine alloy armor suddenly unfurled. The left wing glimmered with a chilling silver-blue glow, while the right wing flowed with a fiery golden-red pattern. One side was frigid, the other searing. Countless energy particles cascaded down, tracing brilliant arcs in the dim city. The hunt had commenced. He let out a low shout, and with a thought, the wings behind him surged forward, transforming him into a streak of light as he dove downward. Simultaneously, his right arm's armor instantaneously morphed, extending and reconfiguring. A gigantic energy blade, measuring 40 meters in length, materialized out of thin air. The blade glimmered silver, with a ring of crimson superconductive energy patterns embedded along its edge. Each swing tore through the air, igniting dazzling sparks. At the center of the municipal square gathered nearly 1 million zombies, and upon glancing at them, Zhang Xiaobei felt a shiver run down his spine. These zombies, lured by high-frequency sound waves, were huddled together, their roars and the sound of grinding bones merging into a cacophony. Before they could react, the colossal blade descended with apocalyptic force. Whoosh! As the blade cut through, flames erupted in blinding crimson. The horde of zombies was cleaved in two as easily as butter. With one swing, hundreds of zombies were reduced to mere pulp, blood and shattered bones spraying everywhere. The remaining zombies hadn't even begun to scatter when Zhang Xiaobei's wings flared, and he instantly shifted to the left side of the horde, sweeping the blade across. Slicing sounds echoed as yet another wave of zombies collapsed like wheat. The extensive coverage of the 40-meter blade meant that with each swing, hundreds of zombies met their demise. Even the mutated, enhanced zombies posed no resistance against this colossal blade. Delight surged within him. This was exhilarating. Zhang Xiaobei let out a triumphant roar. The wings carried him through the mass of zombies, diving to slash, sweeping horizontally, and executing spinning cuts. Each swing of the blade was accompanied by the fall of numerous zombies. Wherever the 40-meter blade passed, the ground was littered with corpses. Not a single zombie could approach within 3 meters of him. The energy shield of the armor automatically repelled the splattering remains, and a halo of purity radiated from his being. In the Eastern District, at an abandoned factory, hundreds of thousands of zombies surged towards the sound wave emitter. Fresh from cleansing the city center, Zhang Xiaobei transformed once more into a streak of light. The blade cleaved down vertically, splitting the factory wall along with the horde in half. As bricks flew, a mass of zombies collapsed. At the crossroads in the Western District, the zombies formed a wall, blocking the path. Mimicking a character from League of Legends, Zhang Xiaobei activated his ability and spun while charging with the 40-meter blade, creating a luminous circle. The energy blade expanded, instantly clearing the area, leaving only severed limbs in its wake. Witnessing the carnage, Zhang Xiaobei couldn't help but retch, not from disgust, but from dizziness. This technique could not be used again. Ugh! In the Southern District, zombies flowed endlessly from the staircases of the residential buildings. Zhang Xiaobei dove down, plunging the blade into the ground, and the scorching energy spread across the surface, creating a field of energy. The zombies within the range were instantaneously shredded to pieces, their bones reduced to dust. At that moment, survivors in every corner of City F peered through windows and door cracks, witnessing this miraculous slaughter. Wang Laosen hid behind the curtains, his mouth agape in disbelief. He gazed at the figure in the sky, adorned with wings and wielding a massive blade. Murmuring to himself, Lu Chang didn't deceive me. A deity has descended? The survivors nearby held their breath, some even forgetting to shield their children's eyes. utterly entranced by the figure that relentlessly reaped the zombies. Inside the supermarket, Zhou Weiguo led the survivors, crammed against the second-floor window. Shock was etched on every face. The young lad, barely 18, trembled with excitement, who hadn't harbored dreams of heroism in their youth. Wow, amazing. Is this the power of a boss? Those wings. So handsome. Absolutely stunning. In an old residential building, a family of 3, hiding for 5 years, wept tears of joy, protected by the husband. They had managed to survive until this moment. The emaciated trio witnessed the winged figure glide past their building, effortlessly clearing the zombies blocking the stairway with a single stroke. We're saved. We're saved. The man, choked with emotion, deeply bowed towards Zhang Xiaobei in the sky. Meanwhile, at the previously notified collection points, survivors rushed to their windows. Watching Zhang Xiaobei dance through the city sky, each swing of his blade signified the liberation of entire areas. Fear gradually transformed into ecstatic joy, with some even throwing open their windows to cheer. Well done. Strike them down. The battle raged for 3 hours, and Zhang Xiaobei had lost count of how many zombies he had slain. He only knew the mechanical rhythm of swinging the blade, retracting it, and swinging again. Though his body had been enhanced, the intensity of the combat left him somewhat parched. He stood silently in place, his luminous wings gently fluttering behind him. Surrounding him were the remnants of the undead, still howling with their gaping, foul mouths. With a flick of his left hand, a bottle of vitamin-enriched beverage materialized. He unscrewed the cap and gulped the refreshing liquid, its rich sweetness instantly replenishing his drained energy. Casually, he thrust the empty bottle into the mouth of a roaring zombie, silencing it immediately. With one swift motion, he punctured its skull. Oh dear, perhaps I was a bit too vigorous. Then, his wings accelerated once more, and with a mighty swing of his blade, another wave of zombies fell. Zhang Xiaobei's gaze was as sharp as an eagle's, scanning the horde below. 100 lure points still attracted a multitude of undead, relentlessly converging. His objective was to eradicate this city completely by nightfall. There was still much work to be done. Transforming into a streak of light, he soared towards the next lure point. Each swing of his blade was met with the cheers of survivors. Each area cleared signified a glimmer of hope for those yearning to survive. Along the way, he slaughtered zombies with his right hand while devouring beef jerky with his left, wasting not a moment of the carnage. As the night deepened, the clock struck 10:30 p.m. Zhang Xiaobei had already slain over 3 million zombies. The streets of F City were piled high with corpses. The once dense hordes of undead were visibly diminished. He hovered in the heart of the city, his wings still radiant. Not a speck of blood marred his form. He resembled a celestial being, surveying the world below. Surely, there cannot be many left. Zhang Xiaobei licked his lips, excitement gleaming in his eyes. With a surge of exhilaration for the task at hand, he embarked on another round of slaughter. As his blade fell once more, his wings traced a brilliant arc through the night. The survivors hidden within their shelters beheld the figure akin to a god of war, their hearts filled with boundless reverence. They understood that after this massacre, F City would usher in a new dawn. The countdown for the mission read 4 hours and 17 minutes remaining. Chapter 26. Mission accomplished. At 10:30 p.m. in F City, the night had thickened. Only the bicolored wings behind Zhang Xiaobei illuminated the darkness with their dazzling trajectory. He hovered above the third lure point in the eastern part of the city, observing the slowly gathering zombies below. While not as dense as before, thousands still swayed, drawn by the sound waves. Another round, Zhang Xiaobei muttered, and his wings plunged downward. The fiery blade unfurled once more, its crimson flames strikingly vivid against the night. He swiftly skimmed just above the ground, his blades sweeping across the asphalt. With a whoosh, nearly 100 zombie heads were sent flying. The sound of their decapitated bodies hitting the ground echoed like a relentless drumbeat. The second harvest proved even more efficient than the first, having endured the initial slaughter. The zombies at the lure point had significantly dwindled, mostly reduced to sluggish remnants. Zhang Xiaobei's movements became increasingly adept, at times. He would lift a zombie into the air with his blade before cleaving it in two. At other moments, he infused energy into the ground, causing debris to erupt and pierce through zombie skulls. The energy shield of his battle armor accumulated some dark, viscous fluid, only to be swept away by an invisible current. As he passed the lure point in the west of the city, he caught sight of the area where he had previously imitated Damar's spin. now strewn with dismembered limbs scattered by the night breeze. That tactic is no longer needed. He scoffed, redirecting his wings towards the final lure points in the south. By now, he had lost count of how many zombies he had slain, feeling only a slight fatigue in his arms. With a flick of his left hand, he retrieved another piece of beef jerky, shoving it into his mouth while continuing his relentless assault with his blade, not pausing for a moment. From the window of the supermarket's second floor, Zhou Weiguo observed the luminous wings flitting through the sky. Suddenly, he turned to the survivors behind him and shouted, "What are you all dawdling for? Our commander has been fighting alone for so long. We cannot simply hide here." The first to respond was a young man of 18 or 19, grabbing a fruit knife and finding a steel pipe to attach to the handle. "Uncle Zhou is right. We can slay zombies too. We may not have had the chance before, but with a powerhouse on our side, what do we have to fear?" Aunt Chun, cradling her child, handed the little one to old Zhang. She then picked up a steel pipe that had fallen from the supermarket shelves. "I may not be able to fight, but I can keep an eye on our backs to prevent any stray zombies from ambushing us. Yes, we will not merely bask in the aftermath. The powerhouse saved us, and we must save ourselves." The survivors' spirits ignited, and they began to gather whatever they could find as weapons: steel pipes, daggers, even wrenches previously used for prying locks. Zhou Weiguo opened the supermarket's steel door and stepped out first. He then saluted towards Zhang Xiaobei in the sky and shouted, "Commander, we are here to assist you." Upon catching sight of this scene from above, Zhang Xiaobei's lips curled into a slight smile, yet he remained silent. He merely lured a few zombies away from the supermarket, creating a safe space for them. Meanwhile, Wang Laosan from the prosperous community also rallied survivors. Armed with the iron rod he had previously used for self-defense, he called out to those hiding in the corridors, "Lu Chang's rascal didn't deceive us. There truly is a deity slaying zombies. The outside is much safer now. Let us go out and kill as many as we can. It's better than waiting to starve." The survivors hesitated for a moment, but ultimately, some followed Wang Laosan out of the corridor. When they saw the ground littered with zombie corpses and looked up to witness the radiant wings wielding blades in the sky, all fear was completely replaced by courage. Then, one foolish individual picked up a brick and charged straight at a zombie. The next moment, crack! As expected, he met his demise. In just half an hour, more and more people emerged from their safe houses across F-City, armed with makeshift weapons. They trailed behind Zhang Xiaobei, clearing out any remaining zombies. If someone was accidentally scratched by a zombie, others rushed to help them without hesitation. If anyone grew weary, they would take turns resting. The city, once only illuminated by the flickering wings, gradually filled with swaying figures. In a village on the outskirts of F-City, Old Lee in the cellar listened intently for a long time. After confirming he no longer heard the roars of the undead, he cautiously pushed open the cellar door. Peering out, he found the yard eerily empty. The zombies that had previously blocked the entrance had vanished, leaving only dark, viscous traces behind. "Old Zhang! Old Zhang!" Old Lee called out to the adjacent yard. "The man-eating beasts are gone." Aunt Zhang next door ran out, holding a hoe, her expression tense. "Really gone? I just overheard that old boar at the village entrance say people have arrived from the city. They say they are official reinforcements." Not only that, old Zhang at the village entrance approached, a bicycle slung over his shoulder, his face brimming with excitement. "I heard from passers-by that there's a reclusive immortal in the city, a terrestrial deity. One person single-handedly exterminated all the zombies in F-City. Now they are gathering people in the city, claiming they will rebuild our home." An immortal? A terrestrial deity? The villagers gathered around, their eyes alight with hope. After 5 years of despair in the apocalypse, they had long grown weary of bleak news. This rumor invigorated them more than any survival rations. "What are we waiting for?" To the city, Old Lee led the way, hoisting his hoe towards the village entrance. "Fuel the village tractor. Those that can drive, get on. If not, ride a bicycle. If that fails, we'll walk. If we delay, we might miss our chance." The villagers sprang into action. Some refueled dusty motorcycles, others pushed rusty bicycles, while some carried bundles containing their meager remaining rations. Along the way, if they encountered a lone zombie, a few villagers would band together, wielding hoes and planks to put it down. Although his movements were somewhat clumsy, the previous fear had dissipated entirely. In the night, paths leading to City F were filled with silhouettes of individuals rushing toward hope. They may not have known whether cultivators truly existed, but they were aware that City F harbored those capable of vanquishing zombies, beacons of hope for their survival. At 12:30 a.m., the streets of City F no longer bore the mass of zombies. Zhang Xiaobei hovered in the center of the municipal square, the massive blade of 40 meters slowly dissipating, and the wings of light behind him dimmed slightly. He gazed down at the mountain of zombie corpses beneath him. These had once been living beings, parents, children, ordinary people striving for a livelihood. Before their infection, they had been human. He sighed softly, a complex emotion stirring within him. Although it was for a mission aimed at achieving controllable nuclear fusion technology, the loss of so many lives ultimately stirred a sense of melancholy in him. At that moment, a system notification echoed in his mind. Ding. Task to eliminate all zombies in City F completed. Congratulations, host, on completing this task. Task completion rate, 100. Task evaluation, united efforts. Remaining countdown, 2 hours and 30 minutes. Reward issued, controllable nuclear fusion blueprint fragments, X3. Reward issued, carbon nanoroom temperature superconducting material technology fragments, X5. Friendly reminder, controllable nuclear fusion blueprint fragments have been fully collected. You may exchange for the complete technical blueprint. Choose, exchange, talk later. Without hesitation, Zhang Xiaobei pressed, exchange. In the next instant, a dark object materialized in his hand. What is this? Encased in a USB drive? Though my education may not be extensive, you cannot deceive me. How could a USB drive, so small, contain the information for controllable nuclear fusion? Chapter 27. SSS Level Special Reward. Just as Zhang Xiaobei voiced his skepticism, the system notification chimed again. Ding. This USB drive has a capacity of 1 YB. 1 YB 1024 ZB 1 ZB 1024 EB 1 EB 1024 PB 1 PB 1024 terabytes. Rest assured, host. The capacity is ample. The information is complete. Upon hearing this, Zhang Xiaobei's spirits lifted immensely. My apologies. I misjudged the intentions behind the gift. This USB drive is included as well? He suddenly comprehended the value of the USB drive. Such capacity integrated into such a small device represents a direction in storage particle research. Indeed, the system produces only the finest quality. But what thrilled him even more was the fact that he had truly succeeded. Not only had he completed the task, but he had also done so ahead of schedule. He lifted his gaze to the sky, where the night remained deep. Below, survivors were still clearing away the scattered zombies. Upon noticing Zhang Xiaobei hovering in the air, many halted their actions and knelt in his direction, exclaiming, "Divine being, the zombies are gone. We have triumphed." Zhou Weiguo approached beneath Zhang Xiaobei, rendering a standard military salute, his voice choked with emotion. "Thank you, Commander. City F has been saved." The kneeling crowd continued to shout, and Zhou Weiguo maintained his salute, yet Zhang Xiaobei had no inclination to respond. His gaze was fixed intently on the system panel that suddenly materialized in the void before him. The exhilaration of completing the task had not yet faded when a new notification emerged. Current operations available for selection. 1. Continue with subsequent tasks. 2. Return to the original world. Return? Zhang Xiaobei scrutinized the panel, feeling ambivalent. Returning to Blue Star would allow him to submit the controllable nuclear fusion technology and fulfill a significant mission for the Dragon Kingdom. Yet, a glance at the system notification regarding carbon nanoroom temperature superconducting material technology fragments, 510, left him feeling frustrated. It felt akin to being in an uncomfortable situation, where he was being teased without resolution. Damn it, let us keep going. He clenched his teeth and declared, "Continue." The fragments were still incomplete, and he felt a nagging sense of something amiss. Moreover, the system had never let him down. The subsequent tasks might yield even greater rewards. In the next moment, the system notification resounded. Ding. Host has chosen to continue the task. Triggering task combo mechanism. Current task reward multiplier X16. Ding. New task issued. The secret of collapsing order. You have made a name for yourself in the apocalyptic wasteland, yet you have yet to uncover the core of this disaster. Why did the world's order collapse overnight? Why did people mutate without warning? The truth behind this must be known. Task content. Please ascertain the fundamental reason for the loss of order within 48 hours. Basic reward. Carbon nanoroom temperature superconducting material technology fragments X5. Collect enough to synthesize complete technology. Additional reward. 1000 N thrust hall effect thruster technology fragments X10. can be directly exchanged for complete technology. SSS Level Special Reward. Open a stable structural passage between the apocalyptic wasteland and the blue star reality. Holy cow! Zhang Xiaobei's eyes widened in shock. His heart raced. This is essentially granting the Dragon Kingdom access to an entire blue star resource. He understood perfectly what this passage entailed. Despite the desolation of the apocalyptic wasteland, it contained rare minerals from blue star and undeveloped land. There might even be unique biological resources adapted to radiation. Once the passage opened, the Dragon Kingdom's steel army could tread upon it. The future development of the Dragon Kingdom could gain a shortcut. This reward was more critical than any technological fragment. Zhang Xiaobei took a deep breath, suppressing the tumult of emotions. His gaze sweeping over the crowd, still cheering below. The sky had yet to brighten, with only a faint hint of dawn in the east. The survivors had just emerged from their fears and needed reassurance and material support. He raised his hand and gestured to the open ground, causing the supplies from his storage space to cascade forth. Boxes of compressed biscuits piled into small mountains, pure water arranged neatly. Even canned meat and chocolates that had not been distributed before were laid out. The aroma of food instantly permeated the air. "Zhou Weigua," Zhang Xiaobei called out, his voice reaching Zhou Weigua's ears. Zhou Weigua immediately looked up and walked briskly to him. "Commander, you summoned." Zhang Xiaobei slowly descended and retrieved a pack of cigarettes from his space. He opened one pack and tossed the rest directly to Zhou Weigua, who eagerly accepted it with delight. "Next, you are responsible for calming the populace." Zhang Xiaobei pointed to the supplies on the ground. "Distribute one portion of food to each person. They don't need to be full, just ensure they don't starve. Water should be rationed. I didn't bring much this time. Once they finish eating and drinking, have them wait here for me. Everyone stay in this area, don't wander off. I have matters to attend to." He paused, recalling the villagers rushing into the city from the outskirts. "If anyone comes from outside the city, accommodate them as well. And inform them that this place is safe." "Understood. I will ensure the task is completed." Zhou Weigua stood tall and saluted, his eyes brimming with gratitude as he surveyed the abundant supplies. With these, the survivors could make do with less. As long as they maintained basic survival, they could last over a week. Zhang Xiaobei watched his slender yet upright figure, recalling the arrogance of Lu Chang and his gang. A new thought crossed his mind. He waved his hand, and suddenly, a dozen firearms of various lengths appeared before him. Handguns, rifles, grenades, tear gas canisters, and even a few RPG rocket launchers. These cold weapons were neatly arranged in front of Zhou Weigua. "These are for you." Zhang Xiaobei's voice turned icy. "You are responsible for guarding the supplies. If there are any disturbances, do not hesitate. Eliminate them immediately. Should any issues arise, I will be the first to seek you out." Zhou Weigua's gaze fell upon the firearm on the ground, and his pupils constricted sharply. After 5 years of apocalyptic existence, this was the first time he had encountered such an abundance of intact weaponry. He hastily bent down to retrieve a rifle, inspecting the magazine. And when he lifted his head, his resolve intensified. "Rest assured, Commander, as long as I am here, no one shall touch these supplies. Whoever dares to create chaos, I shall be the first to eliminate them." Zhang Xiaobei nodded in agreement, choosing not to elaborate further. The luminous wings behind him reignited, casting a striking silver blue and gold-red glow amidst the morning mist. He gazed towards the direction of City F, where the 3 towering buildings of the city center were faintly visible in the twilight. 48 hours. Time is indeed pressing, he murmured softly. And with a sudden flap of his wings, he transformed into a streak of light, soaring northward. Below, the crowd continued to cheer, while Zhou Weigua began organizing the survivors for the distribution of supplies. As individuals took up arms to guard the stockpile, everyone obediently formed a long queue. In the morning light, this city, recently reclaimed from the zombies, began to exhibit signs of revival. Chapter 28. The Mandatory Cherry Blossom. City B is the capital of Long Country. Even amidst the collapse of order, some traces should remain. Zhang Xiaobei's gaze sharpened, and the Edmund alloy wings on his back tensed abruptly. The silver blue and gold-red energy patterns blazed to their utmost brilliance. Suddenly, they erupted into dazzling light, leaving 2 blank trails in the morning fog. With a thought, the propulsion system of his battle armor roared to life. The air was torn asunder with a sharp shriek, and the scattered remnants of corpses and rubble were swept into the sky by the gusts. Zhang Xiaobei's figure transformed into a streak of light, skimming just above the ground. The abandoned vehicles and collapsed buildings blurred past in a rapid succession. The distance of 1,000 kilometers under the maximum speed of the Edmund alloy armor became a fleeting panorama. 10 minutes later, the streak of light abruptly halted above a desolate expanse of ruins. Zhang Xiaobei retracted his wings, yet his suspended form trembled involuntarily. Before his eyes lay a wasteland 100 times more devastating than that of City F. This was City B, once the most prosperous center of Long Country. Yet now, not a single intact structure could be found. Skyscrapers were cleaved in half, twisted rebar reaching skyward. The streets were fragmented by massive craters, the bottoms still bearing charred remnants. In the distance, office buildings were reduced to mere foundations, their walls riddled with countless pockmarks. A glance revealed the aftermath of relentless bombardment. Silence, an absolute silence. No howls of zombies, no sounds of the living. Even the whispers of the wind through the broken walls carried a decaying chill. This was hardly the aftermath of a viral outbreak. Zhang Xiaobei furrowed his brow, activating the life monitoring system of his armor. To his astonishment, not a single soul remained alive, aside from a faint life signal emanating from a distant area. The entirety of City B was devoid of any trace of living beings. With a thought, he made his wings vanish, eschewing any ostentatious effects. He flew directly towards the source of the life signal. He circled all the significant buildings along the way. The former research center had become a scorched earth, the archives buried under collapsed floors. Upon reaching the faint life signal, Zhang Xiaobei finally ceased his advance. Before him was an area enclosed by high walls, the faint inscription of a military management zone still visible. Although much of the wall had crumbled, indistinct voices from within prompted him to halt immediately. He stealthily activated the optical cloaking feature of his armor. In that moment, he merged seamlessly with the air, hovering above the high wall. Below, two figures stood before a makeshift tent. However, the combination of their appearances caused Zhang Xiaobei's gaze to turn icy. One was clad in a sharply tailored black suit, with golden hair and blue eyes, exuding an air of arrogant superiority with every gesture. The other donned a kimono, hunched and bowing repeatedly before the man in the suit. A typical representation of a citizen from the land of cherry blossoms. What were they doing on Long Country's territory? Zhang Xiaobei's brow furrowed slightly as he held his breath. Inching closer, although his foreign language skills were not fluent, the content of their conversation reached his ears with clarity. The man in the suit surveyed the surrounding ruins before turning to the kimono-clad figure, his tone dripping with self-satisfaction. Mr. Nobi, now, the order of this world is dictated by us. He opened his arms wide, as if embracing the devastation around him. It has been 5 years. Though we have suffered substantial losses, we have ultimately emerged as the survivors. Ha ha ha. The man named Nobi immediately bowed, a sycophantic smile plastered across his face. He then chimed in with broken English. Yes, Lord Jason, you are absolutely right. He paused, a flicker of relief and cunning flashing in his eyes. Who would have thought that this genetic virus would mutate on its own, far exceeding our expectations? Although it has affected the entire Blue Star, only the victors can laugh in the end. Luckily, we prepared in advance. Preparation? Of course, we must prepare. Jason scoffed, patting Nobi's shoulder. Now? The combined power of the oligarchs from our beautiful country and your land of cherry blossoms is enough to rewrite the world's dynamics. Those once great nations? Merely the ruins beneath our feet. Genetic virus. Beautiful country? Land of cherry blossoms? Zhang Xiaobei's mind felt as though it had been struck by a hammer. Horror spreading through him instantaneously. The collapse of order in City F and the soldiers mutating without warning. Was this a conspiracy orchestrated by these two countries? Yet the system provided no alerts, indicating that the mission to uncover the cause of the collapse was still incomplete. These two individuals before him were clearly just the tip of the iceberg. Consider yourselves fortunate. You two can serve as the tongue. Whom shall I eliminate? No need to choose. Zhang Xiaobei slapped himself in the face. The land of cherry blossoms. It must be the land of cherry blossoms. Hesitating for even a second would be a disservice to myself. Zhang Xiaobei's gaze sharpened as he sprang into action. Suspended above the two, the left leg of his armor suddenly materialized. The silver-white Edmund alloy extended down his calf, instantly transforming into a sharp silver spike. The tip glimmered with a chilling light. Growing downward, before Nobi could react, the silver spike plunged directly through his head. With a sickening sound, The spike pierced through his skull, dark brown blood erupting from his chest. Yet it did not cease its descent. Continuing downward, it impaled the individual named Nobi firmly into the ground. Nobi did not emit a single cry. Blood flowed from his 7 orifices, his body convulsed twice, and then fell silent. Who? Jason spun around, his expression shifting dramatically. Instinctively, he reached for his waist. However, before his hand could grasp his firearm, he felt a cold grip tightening around his neck, instantly robbing him of all strength. Zhang Xiaobei deactivated the cloaking, and the wings of his armor flared to life once more. He grasped Jason by the neck as if he were a mere chick. With a flap of his wings, he transformed into a streak of light, vanishing above the abandoned military base. In his wake, only the punctured corpse of Nobi remained, silently narrating the harrowing scene that had just transpired within the desolate military base. Jason, suspended in midair, gazed at the ruins racing beneath him, feeling the grip around his neck powerful enough to crush his bones. In that moment, his eyes were filled solely with unending terror. This is not human at all. Which person can transform and fly? What kind of monster is this? After only a brief flight, Jason, being held aloft, was on the verge of losing consciousness from the cold. Zhang Xiaobei casually found a patch of ground and unceremoniously tossed him onto it. With a chilling gaze fixed on Jason, the latter's heart raced with panic. After all, this was his first encounter with such a flying being. Moreover, it was enveloped in a metal that could morph. Despite having weathered the storms of the apocalypse, he felt an overwhelming sense of dread, especially the shape-shifting leg, which filled him with terror. He had witnessed the gruesome sight of Nobita having his head pierced right in front of him. His heart had turned cold. Chapter 29. The Titan Project. Zhang Xiaobei grasped Jason by the nape and carelessly hurled him onto the abandoned concrete ground of B City's outskirts. Jason's ribs collided with the sharp rebar, causing him to curl up in agony. Just as he attempted to struggle to his feet, Zhang Xiaobei stepped onto his back. The weight of the Edmund alloy bore down with immense force, cracking his ribs with a resounding crunch. Jason instantly let out a blood-curdling scream. Endure it. Otherwise, you might end up like that cherry blossom fellow, pierced through. Zhang Xiaobei's voice resonated like a specter from the netherworld. The battle armor obscured his expression, yet Jason could palpably sense the aura of death surrounding him. This murderous intent felt almost tangible. Such pressure could not be achieved without the lives of thousands. Jason ceased his wailing, immediately clamping his mouth shut. His cries were lodged in his throat, cold sweat trickling down his forehead. The excruciating pain in his back made him tremble, yet he dared not move a muscle. He watched as the fingertips of Zhang Xiaobei's armor slowly morphed, transforming into a silver spike. Next, I shall ask a question, and you shall respond. Answer correctly, and there will be a reward. Answer incorrectly. Hee hee. Where is the experimental site for the gene virus? Zhang Xiaobei crouched down, pressing the silver spike against Jason's temple. Jason gritted his teeth, attempting to hold firm. I am a citizen of the beautiful nation. Do you dare to harm me? Citizen? Zhang Xiaobei scoffed, and the silver spike pierced Jason's left thumb. Jason's pupils dilated, the excruciating pain eliciting an involuntary scream. His previously pale face flushed a deep crimson. Disobedient individuals will receive special attention. Then, he yanked it out abruptly, before slowly reinserting it at the side of the nail. FCK. You are a devil. FCK you. Yet Zhang Xiaobei remained unfazed, neither angered nor annoyed. He again inserted the spike directly through the gap of Jason's index fingernail. No, I say. In the next moment, Zhang Xiaobei swiftly covered his mouth. Shoo, your screams are truly delightful, do you know? As he spoke, his other hand began to morph slowly. Then, like liquid metal, it enveloped Jason's face, completely cutting off his breath. Do not speak. I no longer wish to listen, because you insulted me. Therefore, I shall remove your flesh, piece by piece. How delightful. Zhang Xiaobei could distinctly feel the head encased in liquid metal thrashing wildly, as if striving to break free. But in the next instant, Jason felt his mouth pried open by the metal. Then, the liquid metal began to invade his oral cavity, nasal passages, throat, trachea, and esophagus, directly penetrating his lungs. A unique chill from the metal began to spread through his lungs. He was truly terrified, a fear emanating from the depths of his soul. In the next moment, everything vanished. Zhang Xiaobei continued to smile at him and said, Dear Mr. Jason, It is not yet your time to die. Then, as if performing a magic trick, he began to use gauze to staunch the bleeding. After the bandaging was complete, Jason wondered if this pervert had decided to spare him. He hurriedly gasped greedily for air, crying as he pleaded, "Please. I say, no. I do not wish to hear. Why? Why can't I bandage properly? Damn it." Zhang Xiaobei suddenly erupted in anger, casting a disdainful glance at his own haphazard bandaging. He then lifted the foot pressing on Jason's back. Just as Jason thought he had narrowly escaped, the next moment, bang! Zhang Xiaobei stomped down on the freshly bandaged palm. With just a little force, Jason's entire arm was driven into the ground, leaving him lying in an odd sideways position. "I beg you. Your bandaging is excellent." I said. I truly said. Boo-hoo. Observing the once proud golden-haired, blue-eyed man now weeping profusely, Zhang Xiaobei felt an instant disinterest. He lifted his foot and pulled out Jason's arm. The suit was utterly marred, stained with blood and mud. Now, back to that question. Where is the experimental site for the gene virus? In the old military base underground laboratory in Delhi, Asan country. Jason finally could not hold on any longer, his voice shaky. It is Dr. Hank who is in charge. He possesses all the data. Who is the mole? How did the beautiful nation and the cherry blossom nation allow the virus to spread? You must clarify. Otherwise, I wish to enter your body. At this statement, the chilling sensation of metal invading his lungs returned vividly to his memory. He trembled as he spoke. The mole is. It is Li Weichun from the Dragon Country's military. He disguised the virus as a performance-enhancing agent and sent it to the guards. We initially intended to contain it in B City. But Li Weichun took the money and deliberately allowed the virus to spread through the soldiers. And then, speak of something I wish to hear. All right, I shall speak. Our beautiful nation secretly initiated the Titan project to circumvent conventional military limitations. We aimed to develop a gene drug that would enable soldiers to temporarily obtain superhuman abilities. The goal was to enhance soldiers' carrying capacity, speed, and endurance by more than double. After several rounds of domestic testing, we discovered the drug had fatal flaws. First, its efficacy lasts only about 10 days, after which it would cause reverse damage to the body. Second, the test subjects exhibited genetic instability, posing a risk of potential mutation. The higher-ups dared not take risks domestically and decided to shift the blame abroad. Thus, they chose the Dragon Country. Under the guise of a multinational biopharmaceutical company, preparations were made in the biotechnology park of B City. Subsequently, under the pretense of testing a new type of performance-enhancing supplement, they recruited testers from the lower strata of B City, promising 500 yuan for each injection and an additional 1,000 yuan for participating 3 times. Initially, within a week, 3,000 testers evidently grew stronger. The news spread through the market, and excitement abounded. However, our subsequent objectives were swiftly achieved. Many testers began to experience inexplicable fatigue and muscle soreness, believing it to be mere physical exhaustion, not taking it seriously. In the end, through blood and sexual contact, the virus spread. The 3,000 testers had already transmitted the virus to millions in B City through family, colleagues, and medical channels. The Dragon Country immediately began to provide aid. But we allied with the Cherry Blossom Nation and initiated war in the south. Within just 2 days, beset by internal and external troubles, we directly captured. Ultimately, they destroyed all heavy weaponry, resorting to light arms and fighting against their own mutated kind, leading to their complete annihilation. City B has utterly descended into ruins. This is all I know. I beg you, do not kill me. Hank possesses the formula. You can ask him for it. Jason's voice dwindled, fear drowning out all his defiance. He watched as Zhang Xiaobei stood, the luminous wings behind him reigniting, realizing that his value was rapidly diminishing. I have more information. Please, do not take my life. Chapter 30. Shimming in. Zhang Xiaobei patiently crouched down once more, producing a bottle of vitamin-infused energy drink. Unscrewing the cap, he addressed Jason. Come now. Have a drink. I fear you might not endure much longer. Hope for survival ignited in Jason's eyes, and he opened his mouth wide. Zhang Xiaobei intentionally trembled his hand, causing Jason to choke on the sickly sweet flavor. There, you've had your drink. Now tell me what else you know. This will determine whether you live or die. Good. My name is Walton Jason. I am the heir of the Walton family. The plan we devised in collaboration with various conglomerates was to restore the glory of the beautiful country. Yet, we miscalculated. Initially, we could control the virus. However, it soon evolved beyond our grasp. All previous inhibitors became ineffective. No one anticipated how adeptly the people of Longwa could flee. Displaced individuals from Longwa flooded numerous regions. Consequently, this virus began to spread globally. Eventually, the beautiful country retreated to the west coast. In our attempt to develop a vaccine, we resumed culturing strains in Asan. But the local virus there began to evolve again. New mutations emerged. Now, we face immensely powerful, evolved zombies. We have resisted for 3 years. But now we can no longer hold out and are preparing to restructure the resources of Longwa, intending to implement a relocation plan. Upon hearing this, Zhang Xiaobei's expression shifted to one of ire. Miscalculation? Planning to escape? Ding. Task of order collapse completed. Congratulations, host, on completing the task. Task completion rate, 100. Task evaluation, ruthless. Rewards distributed. Carbon nanotube room temperature superconductor technology fragments X5, fully collected. Can be redeemed directly. Rewards distributed. 1000 in thrust hall effect electric thruster technology fragments X10, can be redeemed for complete technology. SSS level special reward. Opening a stable structural passage between the apocalypse wasteland and the blue star reality world. Please select an anchoring point to initiate the opening. As the system notification finally resonated, Zhang Xiaobei understood that this mission had come to a close. All right. Thank you. Jason, where are your family members? I shall escort you home. Really? I cannot express my gratitude enough. Following his guidance, Zhang Xiaobei proceeded northwest of City B, discovering a concealed shelter. You may drop me off here. Thank you, generous. Mr. Metal. Jason still could not comprehend what Zhang Xiaobei was. Enveloped entirely, he briefly suspected he had encountered an extraterrestrial. Yet, in the next moment, his pupils constricted sharply. The world began to spin. Thank you, generous. Mr. Jason, take me to your home. Once more, Zhang Xiaobei's form ignited in a conflagration of gold and blue flames. He struck down directly at the main entrance of the base. The 2-meter-thick alloy door was cleaved in two, collapsing outward. Instantly, the entire base was enveloped in a red alert. Zhang Xiaobei scoffed. Occupying the nest of the magpie? Damn it, if I don't turn you into a coffee blend today, I'll livestream my carving. He proceeded deeper into the underground corridor. After a few steps, he encountered fully armed patrolling personnel. Zhang Xiaobei disregarded their incomprehensible commands. Stop. Put your hands up. With a swift strike, silence reigned. Half an hour later, Zhang Xiaobei emerged from the bunker, a satisfied smile adorning his face. No one knew what transpired below. All they knew was that countless whales accompanied a sea of organs. And the disappearance of several tens of thousands of tons of gold. It appears the authorities were not unwilling to intervene, but rather besieged from within and without. Rest assured, this lineage shall endure from now on. This place shall be ours. Having uttered this sentiment, Zhang Xiaobei returned to City F. The sun shone brightly, and the crowd at the city square was densely packed. Though it seemed thronged, there were only about 20,000 people. Compared to a city of over 4 million, a mere 20,000 remaining is indeed a tragic sight. Yet, Zhang Xiaobei remained unfazed, slowly levitating into the air. Zhou Weiguo and others had already set up the loudspeakers from the last square dance at the supermarket. Even the diesel generator was connected. Zhang Xiaobei, observing the diligent Zhou Weiguo, nodded with a smile. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings. From now on, City F is liberated. There are no zombies, no dangers. Of course, there is also no food. In the days to come, you must rely on your own hands to rebuild your homeland. Upon hearing this, murmurs of discontent began to ripple through the crowd. This was not what they had anticipated. Shortly thereafter, a bald man stepped forward, rallying those around him. Brother Chow. For our rights. Yes, Brother Chow? This fellow must be sent by the authorities. Otherwise, why would he choose the city hall of all places? Indeed, if he doesn't provide us with food, how do we survive? Will we resort to devouring one another as before? The clamor escalated, yet Zhang Xiaobei remained silent, merely observing the tumultuous crowd below. His gaze meticulously scrutinized the individuals present. Among the 20,000, approximately 3,000 were instigating chaos. Moreover, those most vociferous in their demands appeared robust in stature. As the uproar intensified, Zhou Weiguo grew anxious. He leaned in to murmur to Zhang Xiaobei, Sir, Perhaps we should first calm them down. After all, before he could finish his words, Zhang Xiaobei raised his right hand. Upon seeing this, Zhou Weiguo realized he had spoken out of turn and promptly fell silent. It appeared that the assembled crowd of over 20,000 was rather displeased with the arrangement. Zhang Xiaobei began to scan the audience, swiftly discerning their sentiments. If there were any grievances, they were welcome to voice them. After all, we are all one family. And my intention is to assist in resolving issues rather than to create them. Wouldn't you agree? As soon as these words left his lips, Zhou Weiguo behind him looked as if he had seen a ghost. In the next moment, he was drenched in cold sweat. What the hell? Sweating in this frigid weather. The individuals before them were in for a rough time.